We talking about bands, but I still bust the heat. We've been going on for like 4 hours now, like Zack Snyder's freaking Justice League.
Yeah.
Wait, what the hell? Oh, that's better. I thought I had shit on my screen for a second.
Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong.
You want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yeah, you're right. I talk too much. I also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me, I'm not changing. I like me. My kids like me. My friends like me. Because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like.
You're watching Poindexter Lounge. You already know. You're watching Poindexter Lounge for the unity.
Why don't you set aside an hour or two? We'll have a few drinks and a cup of coffee. I don't drink.
Hi, you're watching Poindexter Lounge. I'm choking on chicken.
Hey, you're watching Poindexter.
That's great. I don't.
You are watching Poindexter Lounge.
That's great. I don't.
You are watching Poindexter. Thanks for the lights, Jay. Churros and Call of Duty. I smell like onions and you're watching Poindexter.
That's great. I don't.
And now I'll make the point better. This joint's clever. In the lounge with Poindexter. So Poindexter Lounge, you know that we can get it in. And now I'm headed up like I'm Led Zeppelin.
Hi, you're watching Poindexter Lounge. Do you like nerd stuff? Yeah? Then you'll love this. You never know what might happen or who might show up at the lounge.
I just want to thank you for being here and being my friend. It's always good to have someone you could count on, and I'm glad you're that for me.
That's great. I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball! Poindexter.
What's up, nerd family? Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, and it is great to have you with me in the mobile lounge today on the drive home, because I gotta go home, I gotta drive, and I might as well spend my time with you and hang out and talk about nerd stuff. So if this is your first time to the lounge, just know that, it's not the typical thing, but we like to have some fun. And look, if this is your first time in the lounge, just know that the Poindexter Lounge is a place for nerds. It's a place where you and me and all of us can get together and talk about all the things that we love. Things like TV shows, movies, games, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, superheroes, toys, and so much more. And if those things get you excited, then hey, you done found the right place. This is the channel for you. This is a place that you might like to hang out. You might want to come back periodically and just chat with us and hang out with us, do stuff with us, stuff. So look, if that sounds like what you're into, then please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join this growing group of nerds. Now, I say that, today we got a couple of topics to discuss, and we've got some people here at Leaked. I've gone back to using StreamYard in the thing, and so now I can do that. So Shayna says here, I love this because I get to see your face sooner. Aww. Isn't that sweet? Isn't she awesome? I just love Shayna. Shayna is so great. But yeah, so we got a couple of people in the back so that I can actually bring in, and I'm going to see if I can hear them. If I can't, I'm going to have to put it through my car, and then you might not hear me as well, but we will do what we have to do and make it work, all right? So, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. The alien himself. Ladies and gentlemen, if it works, wait, it's the end.
Oh, there we go. Hello.
There we go. All right.
What's up?
So we got Austin in. What's up, Austin? How you doing, buddy?
How you doing, man? This is fun. I'm doing good. I'm awake and got some family in town, so just waiting on them to get back and hanging out. So
I feel you. Let me put some background behind us here. Oops, what in the world?
Heck yeah.
There it is. Okay. Let's see. It went this way, and then it like kind of did like a little side thing. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it all out on the fly.
Set up here. Right.
I'm trying to remember how to do half of the stuff that I used to do, like, you know.
I know, like send out links and all that.
Right. Now I just got like all this weird stuff going on. All right. Cool. Now, that being said, we also have someone else here.
Ooh.
That's right.
Ooh.
Who hasn't been here in a while.
Ooh.
If I can get back to that. Okay. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Austin's other half. I almost said better half, but you guys are both pretty cool, and I like you both.
I would agree. He's the better half.
There you go. I mean, it's always good for somebody else to say that instead of me. So anyway,
right?
Hold on. Before we bring Bradley in, because we don't go off on side things at all, right? So isn't
right?
It
not
funny?
at all. Never on.
Never a side conversation. So isn't it funny though, like how people will say like derogatory things about you, like about you and your significant other or whatever, like to degrade you, like that, like we're like, I always thought that was kind of weird. There's a bunch of things like that.
Hold on, you're cutting out.
Like,
you're going super robotic.
Am I super robotic right now? Okay.
Okay, now you're back. I
think it might be the area that I was in. But anyways, I think it's kind of weird, some things like that where, like you hear somebody go, oh, your better half, like, I don't know. And then there's like weird stuff too. I don't know. I'm just on a tangent right now. Like Christmas songs, like that song, somebody waits for you, kiss her once for me. You want me to do what now? You want me to kiss my girl once for you. How about no?
How about no?
How about I just go kiss
Scotty,
her
don't.
And you're not part of the equation?
Right, yeah. I'm the one that gets kissed. Damn it.
Right, unless it's like, like your dad or your brother or something, you're like, hey, kiss her once for, kiss her for me, say hi, whatever. But like, I just always thought that was a weird thing. Kiss her once for me. Like, I can't imagine going up to somebody and being like, hey, your girl?
Right.
Kiss her for me. Kiss her for me. Yep. Do it.
That's not weird.
Not weird at all, right? Okay, maybe I made it a little weirder than it actually is. I don't know. Anyways, back in the back, we've got Austin's other half, Bradley himself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Bradley to the show. Bradley, it's been so long, buddy.
Hey, man, how's it going?
It's going good. Hey, I want to be able to hear you, so I'm going to try this real quick. You guys just talk amongst yourself for a second. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Sounds good. Hey, baby, how's it going?
Hello.
So I like your little. I know you're honoring your guy there with your little.
Yes, my guy.
Your avatar. Well, I mean, besides me, I know I'm your guy, but the other guy.
One of the most famous manga artists of all time.
Exactly.
Probably most famous.
Yep. What's up, Chad?
Kira Toriyama, by the way.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Hey, Ruth. Hey, Darkness. Hey, Droga.
And I know everybody's saying hi in the chat. I've been using my phone, so it's been hard for me to like be in the chat and be on. So hello, everybody. That's all I can really say.
You can connect your YouTube account to your stream.
I know I tried to, but it was weird, and I'm just
You'll have to do it like off stream.
Right.
It's easier.
Right.
All right, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You hear me good? All right. That's all I was concerned about, is that you guys can hear me all right and everything. Because sometimes if I do the Bluetooth thing over the phone, it makes it sound weird. But I think we're good. So all right. Listen, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say this straight up. Y'all don't have to worry about me driving. When I do this, I do not take crazy risks. This is what you don't understand about Enosh. Enosh has never broken a bone. Okay. Enosh has never like dislocated.
Don't jinx yourself, man.
No, I'm just saying because I don't take undue stupid risks. I just don't. I just don't. And so like I get it. Like people like ever since I started like doing like driving videos or whatever, like everybody's like, keep your eyes on the road. Like you don't even understand. I've got my phone like rigged up right here in my window, so it's not blocking the window, but I can see it right there, so I'm not having to like take my eyes off of the road or anything. Like it's all right there, guys, and I'm good. So thank you, but I appreciate the love. But yes, I'm good. I'm good. And I've only been in one like good-sized accident in my entire life, and it wasn't my fault. Some 16-year-old girl just cut us off, like, and it was crazy. So
those damn 16-year-olds, man, they really got to get them under control.
Them damn kids.
Right.
Yeah, I know, man. She got out. She was in the car with her boyfriend, and when they got out, like Tiffanie and I were literally falling out of our car. And like I was all bloody, you know, like the airbags had gone off and everything. It like ripped my arm up and everything. And yeah, dude, and like I never knew what happened when an airbag went off, but like it just pumps like this black smoke into or like dust into your car.
If the accident doesn't kill you, the airbag tries to.
Right. Right. So like we're falling out of the car. I had to go over the center console to get out her side because our cars were like right up against each other like that, and I couldn't get out the driver's side, and I fall out and I'm on the ground and I hear, I'm so sorry, 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 I'm so sorry. And I'm just like, shut up, lady, please. Just shut up. I don't care how sorry you are right now. I just want to make sure I have all my faculties about myself. Yeah. And then her dad showed up and it's like, you know.
Oh, wow.
I felt bad for her. Felt bad for her.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was a whole ordeal, man, the whole thing. But Bradley,
Sounds like my sister.
How you been, Bradley?
I've been doing really good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm doing better every day. I had an amazing weekend that I spent with Shayna and my boys and their girlfriends, and it was just great. I had all three of the boys here, man. I had Logan and Isaac and Landon, and we all went out. We went to see Kung Fu Panda 4.
How was that, by the way?
It was great. It had no business being that good.
You know, Bradley and I have that AMC pass thing where you can see like 3 movies a week. I was thinking maybe we should go check it out if it's free. You know?
I still need to see the third one. I haven't seen the third one yet.
I saw the third one, I think. It was okay. I wasn't too crazy about it.
Yeah. Yeah,
but I heard
sorry.
I've heard a lot of great things about this one. And they bring back all the old villains I like, so
yeah, that was there was one part of it that I looked at Isaac and I said, I really hope they don't do this. And then they kind of did that, but they didn't do it in a full on cheesy way. Think Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay.
Just some of the stuff that happens in there that it's like, yeah, but don't undo the characters of
right.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, that was the one problem that I had with No Way Home. I thought it was a great movie, and it was, it had a lot of great stuff in it, but it was like, I don't feel like that all of Spider-Man's villains have to somehow be redeemed and that's somehow Spider-Man's personal issue,
Right.
I don't see that, but no, man, it was better than it had any business being for being like the 4th movie in in the Kung Fu Panda series, it seems like at part 4 you're getting to the point where it's like you're running out of ideas, but they really did a good job with this.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. I mean,
for sure.
But that's good, man. I saw on Facebook all your posts. It was really nice to see you. Dude, you just look so happy and so like fulfilled, and no, it was great to see you having a good time with your family. And
I was, man. I was for sure. But yeah, so today we got a couple of topics, and I'm interested to hear you guys' takes on this stuff. Batman 2 is now officially delayed a year.
yes, I was hoping this wouldn't happen, but I mean, I understand it, but they got to speed it up. They gotta get a move on. I understand there were issues. I understand you had the strike. I understand, me and Bradley were talking about Matt Reeves has a pretty direct hand in the Penguin show. I think he's probably directing some episodes, so that's taking up time.
I don't think he's directing any episodes of Penguin. I think they would have probably announced that by now.
I'm sure he is, because who's writing it? Do we know? Let me IMDb this shit real quick.
I forgot his name, but it was supposed to be what's his name from The Sopranos?
The Sopranos, yes, Terry Winter.
He left
right?
though. He left.
Okay.
He wrote, I believe he wrote a treatment for the show, and I think he left when they started pre-production. I'm not sure exactly when he left.
Okay, so the director so far is
I think RJ would probably know a little bit more about that than me.
Oh yeah, RJ.
Who's the director?
He's a nobody. It's Craig Zobel. Not a nobody, but he's not done anything too
What about
significant.
showrunner? I forgot who the showrunner is.
He's directed episodes of Westworld, The Leftovers, Mayor of Easttown. Let's see here. Showrunner.
Oh, you know what? Guess what? We got another guest. It's like the
Ooh.
old times, folks. Bringing people together. And you know what? It's really scary for me, like, after not having been here for a year, to, like, be like, hey, you want to come on? Because I don't know who's friends anymore and who's not friends anymore. and who likes each other. So, like, if we all just disappear on the stream, you know why? I don't know.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. RJ, what's going on?
Hello. Hey, what's up, man?
Very
Finally,
controversial.
the show can actually begin. No, I'm just kidding. Guys, it's a reunion.
Hey, what's up? I know, it's been forever. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be talking to you, Enosh. I know it's been forever.
And we gotta love Enosh for having, the diversity quota, 2 gays, 2 straights, so it works out.
Yeah, well, he's got his show. He's got two Latinos on, so 2 Latinos, 2 whiteys.
Thank you for the quota, Enosh. It's because of this.
You're welcome. I asked Shayna if she wanted to come on because I was trying to go for the female
right.
angle. Like, I don't know, man. Where's DL when you need him?
Wow.
I say that because he would get a kick out of that. I think.
Yes, he would.
Yeah, for sure.
So
RJ, we're just talking about the fact that Batman is now delayed a full year.
Yeah, no, that news hit me like a truck, a little bit. But here's my take on it, so Deadline was saying that the official, the reason that they're hearing is because the strike's delayed in the script. Basically, they're not ready to film it because of the script. I do think that's true, but I don't think that's the only reason. Okay, I'm gonna put out a conspiracy theory a little bit.
All right.
Kick him, Enosh. No, I'm kidding.
Get out of here! Don't you know? Haven't you watched the show in like the 5 days that I've been back? We're not having none of that. No, I'm just teasing. As long as we preference it with we're not saying this is what is happening. I don't know. RJ's probably got some source.
No, I don't. This is me thinking, if I'm thinking from the business perspective.
I'm just interested to hear what your take is, and if anybody else on X today might have been putting forth the same idea.
I think some people are putting it out there, and I do have to agree with some of those people. I think that it is because of the strikes delaying the script, but I also think it's because they want to clear the road So because if you notice, now there's only one DC movie releasing it in 2025, and that's Superman. So
you know why that is. You know why that is. It's all because James Gunn is just trying to, screw everything up. That's why
He's a control freak.
Superman.
Right.
Don't you know why he changed the movie to Superman? It wasn't because he just wanted to change his Superman movie to Superman. It was because he wanted to somehow screw up the hashtag. So anybody using the hashtag Superman will come back to his movie. Don't you know that?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's almost like his movie is about the character Superman or something.
I know. But no, I do think, though, and this isn't like, I know there's the conspiracy, other people saying that the movie's going to get canceled, that James Gunn's going to bury the movie because he only wants one Batman. I don't think that's the case.
No, it's not.
Listen, the Batman, whether you like the movie or not, it made over $777 million. Like, it was a huge hit for a studio that typically doesn't have a lot of box office hits, especially at that time. There is no way they don't make this movie.
The Penguin is still coming out this year. I mean, look.
Yeah, I think they're invested in Matt Reeves. He signed that first look deal. They're invested in him. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But I do think, though, in the DC brand, as far as the DC brand is concerned, I think they just want 2025 to just be about Superman. I don't think they want any other movie to come out because they want to put all their money into marketing that. They want to put all their focus and attention on that. And they want the audience to just be focused solely on that movie. I feel like if you're having Superman and Batman come out the same year, it'd be good for the fans, but I think that they want to spend all their, because let's be fair, they probably don't have a lot of money. They probably don't have too much money. They probably want to spend all their big marketing money on just Superman. They want to make it just a clear roadway for that movie, have it be all by itself next year, and that way they don't got to worry about nothing else. That's just my theory. I have to agree with some people about that. I think they just want to clear the roadway.
I could see that. I could see that. I mean, especially... we talk a lot about the confusion stuff, and you can make arguments, on both sides of that, right? I mean, this could confuse people, this could not, whatever. But I do think it's a good idea, actually, because, I mean, when you have a Batman movie coming out 3 months after your Superman movie, and they're not connected, yet you're using your Superman movie to launch a whole new universe, you gotta kind of have a palette.
Which, again, this isn't the popular take. It's not the popular take, but I have said I think that they should have made the Batman be part of this DC universe. I know it's not the popular take, but I think that they should have done that.
No, I think leaving it separate.
Yeah. Just because for me at least, I don't know how you can support two ongoing Batman film franchises at the same time. Like, I feel like people love that movie a lot. I think you can make it work, That's just me, personally. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I just have a hard time seeing that they're going to actually, be able to do two franchises at the same time. I feel like they should just focus on one. Like, again, audience confusion, too, and just, Because at least with Joker, Joker's, no one Joker's off in its own weird world, doing its own weird little thing. They're building a Batman little mini universe at the same time they're doing a full-blown cinematic universe. It's just kind of conflicts a little bit, in my opinion. But
do you think though that they can use that as an opportunity though to differentiate the two? Because I feel
exactly,
I feel like Matt Reeves' version of Batman is it's obviously what it is right now. I've been very vocal that it's okay for me. The Batman franchise is not. It's definitely not my favorite version of Batman. It's definitely not something that I keep going back to because honestly, I've watched the Batman I think 3 times total, and I'm just kind of done with it. I really just anymore. I don't. I don't know. It's not a movie that I keep going back to. I saw so many flaws in that first movie that didn't make any sense. And just annoyed me to the point where I was like, look, I'm still in because it's Batman, right? I'm not hating on it. Mm-hmm. It's just that, I'm really glad that they didn't make him the new Batman for the DCU because, honestly, I don't think that Pattinson lends himself to a comic book movie, which I feel that the DCU is probably going to end up being true comic book movies. right?
Yeah,
More
well, that
more
seems
along
to-
the lines of the MCU, right? Where it will definitely have more of that comic book feel to it and everything. Where I feel like the Batman doesn't have any of that, and I don't feel that Pattinson would fit in that kind of Batman.
Well, I
would
think up
disagree in
until
that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Austin. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, it was just like you said though, but I think that's okay, right? They're going to be two different Batman. Look, Pattinson's Batman is very close to like the Long Halloween comics, to like
sure,
it's definitely comic inspired for sure.
It feels more like the
it's
comics than say
just-
the Nolan movies did.
Like
it's getting closer to comic
Well,
books.
yeah,
than before.
and what we're gonna get.
I
With
will
Gunn
say that. I'll
probably-
give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that.
And what we're gonna get with Gunn probably is, like you said, even more comic book, the Bat Family, all that's Brave and the Bold. So yeah, I think it's enough to differentiate it for sure. I don't think. Look, they're not canceling this movie. I mean, it's just it's gonna be delayed, whatever. But at the end of the day, I would rather take the delay, have a great script, make a great sequel. If it's taking Matt Reeves that long to write it or whatever, if he's busy with the Penguin or whatever. Also, too, I mean, like we said, after the Batman, that's when he got his contract. So he's now probably planning 3 as well. Everything wants to connect and correlate, and so it's more than.
And I think even the Hollywood Reporter
2.
article today mentioned that Pattinson has a locked-in trilogy contract. They're going to do a Batman trilogy. So
Yeah, well, see, and that's what I was thinking too. That's what I was starting to think about it, is that what if we end up not having to even worry about, like, some multi-universe, right? Because what if the Batman, I don't see Matt Reeves, like, trying to build that out into some world where it's like all these heroes exist and, there's this character showing up and that character showing up.
it's a Batman-centric universe.
Right, it's a Batman universe.
Yeah, it's a Batman universe, and I feel like that that could be like the thing where like he just does have a trilogy, and whatever TV show, the Penguin, it'll be interesting to see how good that is, and then kind of call it good, and maybe spin it off into like another show, later down the line if you want to keep going.
There was the I don't know what changed, but like initially they were working on an Arkham Asylum show, but now that's going to be apparently DCU. James Gunn said, "Hey, Matt Reeves had this idea for an Arkham series, but now he's bringing that over to us. He's working on an Arkham show for us."
Which I think is cool. Like, what an opportunity to get to do your own thing and play in the larger universe. Like, for me,
I think it's a good chance to set up your Batman as well. Before having Batman himself, you can set up some of his rogues. You can set up.
You guys were mentioning
Gotham.
differentiating. Like, I hope at least, because like with the Robert Pattinson Batman, I think that they're focusing more on like it being a detective story, more about like gritty crime.
Yeah.
So you're probably not going to see him fight a clay monster or like a poison ivy or even a Mr. Freeze. Doesn't seem like that. I mean, it could be wrong. Maybe they could do that. So I hope with Brave and the Bold, at least, I want to see him fight Ra's al Ghul. I want to see him fight, a Mr. Freeze, a Clayface, a Poison Ivy. Like, I want to see, like, the crazier villains. That's how you want to differentiate. I want to see, like, stuff we didn't think we would get to see in live action. You know?
I think Reeves
will. Sports 1000, he doesn't. That Batman doesn't worry about citizens in his way. That Batman would be driving down the expressway that I'm driving down right now, but the other opposite way, in the rain at 100 miles per hour, knocking cones and
well, according to the canon of that movie, he did not kill a single person in that movie. So that is the official canon of the film.
You didn't kill it.
I'm just saying that's the intention, the creative intention is that he did not kill a single person in the movie.
I have to say this too, because I've been seeing a lot of people bitch and complain about the highway chase scene ever since the movie came out, and it's one of those things that people that complain about BVS do. They sit there and complain about the same scene for years on end until they don't know when to shut the fuck up. Sorry, but
no, that's good. I complain about that scene all the time, Bradley. So I mean, that's just.
I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm just talking about people.
I know. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. No, I get it.
Well, I will
get
say
it.
it's gotten a bit
But no,
ridiculous lately. Those people bringing all that up when it's like, okay,
Well, yeah.
Batflick was literally holding a gun, shooting people. Keaton killed people.
well, I think
So this guy in his second year, maybe if you guys really want to go there, killed one person on that. Like, I mean,
well, no, because but my problem is
it's
I
a
watched the
whole
scene. I watched
right.
the highway scene literally the other day. The
You
only thing that
analyzed it.
Batman does, the only thing that Batman does is he's like, he's stopping in front of the big oil tanker and a car rams in the back of his car. That's all that happens. That's all the contact he comes in with a human life. He never runs into a car purposefully or even on accident. He doesn't even come slightly close to harming another person besides the person that slammed into the back of his car that was caused by Penguin. So that's my problem.
Yeah. Now, see, Bradley, the only thing that I would shoot back on that is the fact that, like, okay, so yeah, the Penguin, technically, he takes off, right? And he's driving, on the expressway the opposite way and everything, and the Penguin is doing that. The only problem that I have with it is like, even a cop has boundaries of, like, when they stop a pursuit. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if it's potential, I'm not even talking about what actually happens in the movie. There is one thing in the movie that I'll say in a second, but, like, the pursuit should have ended. Like, Batman should have had a better way of doing that than just hopping on and just chasing Penguin at 100 miles an hour because of Batman's stance on human life, because he literally put everybody in harm's way by continuing to chase after the Penguin. That's the way that I have seen that scene. And then the way he's weaving in and out of traffic, and then you got the truck, and it's like Batman's not trying to save anybody. Batman's not trying to keep anybody out of harm's way. Batman is, like, singularly focused on just tracking down and capturing Penguin.
Yeah. Well, I think,
and when he, like, flies through the explosion, it looks super cool. But I'm sitting here thinking to myself, that truck driver is dead.
Oh no, he's dead. That truck driver died.
But by Penguin's
But that's
default,
the thing though with me though, at least it's just like sometimes like, and I said this even about like some of the other Batman movies. Like sometimes you have to suspend your disbelief because it's just meant to be cool. I mean,
Exactly, it's a comic. Like
it's just like
saying that he
that
should have
car
pulled
scene is
over
great.
and saying he should have pulled over and stopped and helped people in the crash. I almost have never seen Batman do that in a comic.
No,
so I think that's the thing. You suspend your disbelief, like like you said. But
Austin at the end of the movie, they got Batman doing something that I've never seen Batman doing before, and that's helping people, like, after he saved everyone, get into helicopters and get out of the place and stuff. So I'm not saying that Batman necessarily had to stop and, like, help people. I guess what I'm saying about that scene is I feel that Batman should have never been there in the first place. Batman, because they know where the Penguin's headquarters is. They know the people that Penguin hangs out with. They know that they could track Penguin down. Why does he feel the need to have to go 100 miles per hour the wrong way in the rain on the expressway? Because if I did that, I would be considered putting people at risk. You know what I'm saying? So, like, so what I'm saying is that because I say that, because I would do that. Hold on a second.
I got it. I got it.
Thank you. Because if I did that, I would go to prison or I would go to jail for putting people in harm's way. It's also something that I don't think is a good look. I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day, right? Like, I don't really care. But I do think it's kind of a bad look because it's something that, like, Batman has control over. It's not like it's random. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm saying this from the perspective of, like, driving down the expressway right now. Some guy was, like, driving the other way right now, crazy at 100 miles an hour, dressed up like a bat.
Hey, just visit California. You'll see that every day.
I love it.
Everyone
I love it. That's why I miss panels. That's why I miss the panels. That's why I miss everybody in here. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, the movie's going to be delayed, and I think that it's probably in the bigger scheme of things, it's probably a good thing that the movie is delayed. I don't know that it needed to be delayed a year,
Well, that's what I was gonna say. To me, at least, I was surprised they moved it to October because I feel like that's a pretty hefty delay. I was more like I was thinking they would delay it to March of 2026. October, that's a long delay. It is.
Yeah. Well, but I think what they can also do with something like that too, whereas if they are ahead of schedule, they do start whatever. Now they're at a point where they can move it up, and that would be a nice surprise for people, you know. But they definitely should not delay it anymore. Sorry, baby.
One other thing I saw too is someone said that there wasn't enough stages in that they could use right now to even shoot if they wanted to anyway. There's just so much shooting right now.
There wasn't enough what?
Not enough stages for them to even shoot on.
All the stages are occupied for shooting.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's something else too that takes an effect. But people will sit here and complain that Gunn is sabotaging Matt Reeves and all this other shit. Oh my god, Gunn's a villain. Oh.
Well, that's probably a good thing because I think if you remember, I think they announced this sometime middle of last year that DC Studios, like Warner Brothers, is investing like a ton of money in building out like an actual physical place for DC films to shoot over in the UK. It's gonna be like this giant lot where they can film all their DC stuff, like for in studio shooting. So that'll probably be helpful. They can have like a new location to film in. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see where that movie goes, and how the movie pans out.
Are you interested in Penguin at all?
Look, I love what's his name?
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. Yeah, I love Colin Farrell. Right. I thought that he was probably the best thing about that movie for me. Was him. Because I thought that he did a really great job as Penguin. So, I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. It's going to be a very crime drama. Like I'm pretty sure it's going to be The Sopranos, just with the Oswald Cobblepot the Penguin running around. It's going to be a very crime mob focused story. I don't think it's going to be very comic booky at all. I wouldn't be shocked if Batman doesn't appear in it whatsoever. I think it's going to be a pure.
Well, I think
Batman or Bruce. At least.
Well, I think when they first announced the show, they said that Batman would be kind of like a shadow throughout the series. Like you would see probably a shadow on top of rooftops and stuff like that, which would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool. I mean, it depends upon how much you start showing, because you start showing too much, then you're gonna have people wanting. You know what I mean? And so it's a real slippery slope with that when it comes to TV shows, because you don't want to screw up your TV show because you're not going to put patents in it.
Yeah. Well, I think they have a good opportunity. I think they have a good opportunity too if the show is intended to follow up with a sequel. I think that builds up a little more hype for Batman Part 2, and it kind of fills in some gaps that people want for that.
Yeah, because I think the show is basically like once Gotham gets flooded, Penguin decides to become an actual crime boss himself and not be like a henchman. Just like, okay, I'm going to take over Gotham's underbelly, actually become like a major crime boss because there's an opportunity as a power grab. So should be kind of fun to see how that kind of plays out and like how he becomes like a Penguin that is a major crime boss in the city,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing too. Like, it's kind of a good setup. It, even from the comic point of view, right? His Penguin's rise of taking over Falcone's, place as the mob boss and that type of thing. And then who's the other crime family that's going to be involved in this one? RJ.
There's the God. Okay, so I might give you. There's the Falcones and the Maronis, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
A lot of the supporting cast from Long Halloween is going to be in the Penguin show. A lot of the Falcone crime family that wasn't in the actual Batman,
which could very much set up a Hush as well too.
I believe Maroni plays a big part in it, right?
Yeah, well, the Maroni's daughter does.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, then he'll
Clancy
show up.
Brown's in it too, I think, which that's always fun to see him.
Yeah.
Well, I think they have a chance too. I mean, you could tease at some other villains that are out there, or some affiliations Penguin might have that we don't know about yet. There's a lot. they could do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward to the next movie. Like I said, it's just not my favorite incarnation of Batman. So I am glad that that's not the only Batman that we're getting, I guess. So for me, so from that standpoint, I am kind of glad that, look, people are able to get something that they enjoyed, right? Something that they liked, and that's fine, right? And then hopefully, whatever the Brave and the Bold turns out to be. And I mean, honestly, I've got concerns about it, because you're introducing the whole Batman family in one movie, but okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but hey, speaking of family, there's mine.
Well, there you go.
Look at them, all together, just looking great, hanging out the other day, going to see the movie and going to eat and having fun. Looks like my family's just fine. So thank you, Tom. But no, it's just interesting that it got delayed a year, right? Because everybody's been really wanting this thing. Everybody's been really excited about it, and it's just kind of surprising that they pushed it back that far. Because at one point, the Batman was all the rage. I mean, that was like the thing, and it's just kind of, I understand the conspiracy theories where people are like, well, is it actually going to happen, whatever. But I just feel like they've got so much into it at this point. There's no way they're pulling the plug on.
Well,
on that
again,
theory.
the first movie made way too much money to leave it behind completely, and Batman makes too much money. You know.
Right. So you're not going to pull the series, after you paid the amount of money that you did for the first movie, and the first movie did well, and then you've got, the TV series coming out. Like, that wouldn't make any sense to just go, nah, we're not going to do that one.
Especially when they've already committed that they're doing Elseworlds, and they named this as an example of like what Elseworlds is and what it can be and all that. Yeah.
Right. So.
Well, actually, I was going to bring up something because I didn't see on the thumbnail, but I wanted to bring. Did you guys see the headline today that kind of shocked me about X-Men '97, that they fired the creator and the writer of the show?
I guess they deleted all their social media too, I guess.
Yeah, the writer and the creator of X-Men '97, the sequel series to the X-Men '90s cartoon, Marvel just fired them out of nowhere. They're gone.
Really?
Yeah, and they will not be promoting the show, and they will not be working because apparently this guy also wrote episodes.
Hold on. Let me put that on pause for a second. I just want to bring up the fact that yes, Landon is indeed here. This goes to show you. Yes, Landon is here. Lil Sus is right here. He's right here. He's watching. Imagine that. I know. It's so strange, especially when there's these stupid reports of my family not being together. No, one person was missing, and we know where she's at, so we're good. She can stay there. So yeah, like this chalk all this stuff up to sad, pathetic people who have no lives, who love me, who love me. They just love Enosh so much that the second they see that notification bell chime that Enosh is live again, oh, you poor thing, you poor thing.
They're just sad they don't have a family that loves them. It's okay.
Right.
This is this person's third account, by the way. I just want to mention.
Well, not only that, it's funny how he's talking to you about stealing women. Home wrecker.
Yeah, you realize you're literally impersonating an idiot right now. Probably not much impersonation to be done there. So.
Who is spamming? I just said a child looking for attention. So.
Right. So, but I just like to throw that up there that, my family is just fine. My family is good. In fact, my family is probably better than ever now. To be honest with you, I mean, there's a lot of good there. So, but I'm sorry, go back, RJ.
No, you're fine. No, it's fine. I just thought that was interesting because he worked on Moon Knight. He wrote a draft of the Blade movie, and then he wrote like 2 seasons of this cartoon that everyone's excited for, and then suddenly he gets fired. He did delete all of his, like, there's like some rumors that there might have been like a reason for that, and they haven't revealed it publicly. Because if you read the report, they said there was no explanation given, which is typically very weird. So I think something might be coming out about the guy. That's not very good.
They'll probably
That's
come
not
out
it.
and say something tomorrow.
Because I don't think it's an issue with the show. I think it's something with that guy. Like, I think something happened that we don't know yet that's going to come out soon about him. That's probably why they're like, okay, we got to fire you and get rid of you immediately.
They'll probably clear up tomorrow. Damage control.
Yeah. I listen, I'm excited for X-Men 97 though. I don't know if anyone else is. I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks great. So
I'm not too crazy about it. I'll probably check it out at some point, but
See, the only thing I like about X-Men 97 is the theme song. I never really got into it. I like my X-Men like they're supposed to be, dark and gritty. I want my, my classic X-Men. Even though I don't mind the kid stuff, it's cute.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that cartoon, just like Batman the animated series, like my gateway to those characters. So it holds a special place in my heart for that reason. I mean, I will be honest though, that wasn't my favorite X-Men cartoon. I much preferred X-Men Evolution. That one I felt was the better X-Men cartoon, personally. Wolverine. Again, I know it's probably a hot take, but I really loved X-Men Evolution. Like, I thought that cartoon was great. That actually was the cartoon that introduced X-23. She was a cartoon character first before she became a comic book character. Interesting little factoid. But
I like the Wolverine and the X-Men one that came out
yeah, that one was good too. I also liked Wolverine and the X-Men. It only lasted 1 season though, then it got canceled. I was sad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never like in the 90s. I never watched X-Men. I mean, every once in a great while I would catch an episode of it, but I really wasn't into X-Men back then because I was strictly pretty much a DC fan. With the occasional, like I loved Spider-Man obviously, and there were certain, there's always been certain Marvel characters that I've loved. Oops, I had to turn my phone back on. Sorry about that. So there's always been certain Marvel characters that I love, but I just never got into 97. It was just never something that I was super excited about. I'm excited for people though, because I know people are excited about the show coming back, and I hope it lives up to that hype, because a lot of times it's really hard to live up to that kind of hype.
Especially when it's like decades later and you're continuing the story and with characters that people really love and got attached to that version specifically. You know?
Did I?
Hey, what's up?
Hi, Sheena.
Hello.
Oops, check it out. It's a member of my family live and in person.
There's another one. They're just popping up all over the place today, huh?
Yes, they are.
It's like they're in your life or something.
I know.
It's crazy.
Wait, Sheena, you're telling me you're not being held against your will to say these things right now?
Blink twice if there's a gun.
There's only one gun in this house.
That she knows of. Honey, you don't go on the internet without preparing yourself. Anyway, so how are you doing?
So funny.
I am.
I'm good. I'm headed to do some
places.
stuff. Yeah, go some places and do some things. That was loud.
What the heck was that? All kinds of craziness going on over here.
So
Ruthie says hi.
Hi, Ruthie.
What's up, Ruthie? Landon says hey, Shayna. This is adorable.
Aww.
See? TW thinks it's cute.
Aww.
There you go.
So
what do you think of Batman getting canceled? Did you like the Batman?
It was okay. I had to watch it a couple times to understand it. But that's typical with me for like dark movies like that. It's kind of like slow. Dune. I had to watch Dune a couple times too. But the Batman franchise is cool. He's not my favorite Batman. I'm sorry. It's just, he's not my favorite.
Who is your favorite Batman?
Michael Keaton. Hands down.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's the GOAT.
Yeah. But the delay, I'm not surprised because there are a lot of movies.
Uh-oh, we lost audio.
From the writing strike and everything that happened because of it. I think it's just catching up, and I think that I think it was one of you made a point about the budget and needing to kind of streamline things. I think that is probably part of the decision, because they want to stay alive. And if the movie sucks right now, they're not going to release it. They need to fix it or tank it, because it's the company's at stake. I mean, to some extent, they keep putting out crappy movies and changing things on everybody.
She brings up a good point, and that is like, we know that WB just can't help themselves but to get all involved in everything, and I think everybody kind of felt that Matt Reeves was kind of exempt from that a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of put him in his own little corner where he can do basically whatever he wants. Yeah,
right. But with all this new stuff happening, do you think maybe they put
I gotta go.
Okay,
bye.
Mwah. Do you think maybe they're putting a little bit more on Matt though? By saying maybe we're gonna still do your movie and everything, but budget wise,
There we go. Sorry.
no, you're good.
Okay. But you know what I mean? It's interesting.
I'm sorry.
What the hell?
That name is I'm sorry. I shouldn't be paying attention to that. Name made me laugh. I'm just like, okay, now you're just like, you're trying too hard at this point. You know what I mean?
It's cute.
Oh my god. This is your life now. Oh jeez.
This is how you know you've made it, Enosh. This is how you know you made it.
Thank you. Yeah, this person, they so wanted to debate me. That was really their problem. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, will do. I'll get a hold of you, so that we can debate. You're running scared still because you don't want anybody to know who you are, because you've been trolling for so long that you got nothing to say. So.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, but no, I think it brings up an interesting point though about the Batman, right? Like, I mean, do you think that in this world of all of a sudden we're going to have multiples, we're going to have, Elseworlds, so yours is the Elseworld thing. It's not the main continuity. So as the belt gets, tightened, right, over time.
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, that goes back to what I was saying. I do feel like the DCU plans are going to maybe impact how things are scheduled out, how they release certain things, where maybe it's just like, hey, we need to put space between this and something else, or we need to I don't know. I mean, that's going to be, because I do think that they'll probably have to give it a separate branding. They're going to give it a branding of maybe they'll give it a DC Elseworlds logo, or they're going to push the Elseworlds thing a little bit more. Like, they got to
See, now I like that. I know that there are people who don't like that. Okay, Matt Jarbo, cough cough. Matt Jarbo, cough cough. I get it.
But as somebody who likes all of DC, look, I'll put my money where my mouth is by saying, and I'm going to get out here, but I will put my money where my mouth is by saying I'm glad that other people would get to see a version of the characters that they love. That it doesn't have to be all about me and just what I want. And that's a way that you can do it, but don't overdo it. Don't abuse that.
Yeah, I think if they do Elseworld stuff, it needs to be every once in a blue moon. Like, it shouldn't be every year there's an Elseworlds movie or something. Like, it needs to be something special that comes out every few years, maybe.
Well, I think the Penguin miniseries I think that should stand a one-off. I don't think they should renew that for a second season or
just do a one season. Yeah.
I don't think they should really do that in general. Like, if they do a miniseries for the Batman, I think they should do it sparingly, and I think Penguin should be the only one, in my opinion. I don't think they should overdo it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think they might do a show in between each movie. They'll probably do one other show after this.
Which I could see them, after the second movie, doing another show to kind of,
fill in some gaps and world build a little bit, which is smart, but I don't think they'll do too much with it. I think they'll stick with the movies specifically and make that their focus.
Hey, look, I got my dogs too.
Hi, puppers.
And there's Harley. There's
What? They
Whoopi.
haven't fallen apart?
Oh, the happy puppers.
I haven't added one. I added George, Shayna's dog. So
George.
we got both George and Marty McFly.
There you go.
I love it. I love it.
Yep. Oh, hush. Shh. Shh. I am on a stream, guys.
They said they want to be on too.
Yeah.
I guess I'll break the ice and ask the question everyone wants to know. Enosh, will you even bother seeing Scream 7 when that comes out?
Will I bother what?
Will you even bother going to see Scream 7?
Okay. So, you know what? Yeah, I will. Look, I love Scream, okay? And if there's one thing that, and I'm just going to be totally candid here, okay? So this is it. Yeah, so last year, Tiffanie and I and a buddy of mine went to go see Scream 6, and it was actually because of Scream 6 that I found out that my wife was a cheating, so because we shot a review of Scream 6 on her phone, and then she handed me her phone. So 3 times, to which I discovered all that stuff. So yeah, last year I kind of had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth for Scream.
Understandable.
Yeah, and you know what? I started wondering, like, and honestly, there's been a lot of stuff like that. You know, like this is totally true, candid talk, not that BS that other people want to talk about. This is me being as honest as I can here. Like, there's been a lot of stuff that I have been concerned with. Like, am I ever going to be able to enjoy this again? You know, like
because it has bad memories of
right. You know,
yeah.
like listen, this is what I say. Like, all joking aside, right? All joking aside with the troll and all that stuff, right? The reality is, man, like that dude who's trolling and coming in here, no wonder you don't want anybody to know who you are, because what kind of person somehow tries to troll or gain pleasure from people being hurt by someone? And so, look, yeah, Tiffanie and I, man, we've been together for a long time. I love Tiffanie. I've loved Tiffanie. I put everything in my heart and soul into my marriage. And we didn't break up because I had a YouTube channel, and we didn't break up for all these petty things, like because I was talking about Batman. Like, anybody who was around knows that Tiffanie was into all that stuff too. So that's not the point. The point is that I am reclaiming the things in my life that were given bad, situations after that. I mean, I remember watching Star Wars one day, and it was just like, I just felt weird watching Star Wars because everything had been in my life had been, the same thing with the same person. It cracks me up that people want to give me a hard time because I'm going through this, because like you would think that I'm the only person who's ever gone through a divorce. And like this is funny. This is hilarious. You're a nobody, right? So you don't know anything about my life. You're somebody who watches a freaking YouTube channel, and you think that gives you insight? You're a moron. I mean, that's just dumb. And how pathetic and sad it is for somebody to care that much to try to push a narrative like that. But it is what it is, man. And so, you know what? I'm slowly but surely reclaiming things in my life, and Scream is going to be one of those things, because I love the Scream series, So like, and I love doing my channel, and I love being who I am, and my family around me. Like Landon is talking about right now, because Landon is a phenomenal drummer, and he's talking about wanting to do a drumming thing, like a drumming show on the channel. And
cool.
yeah, and Isaac's wanting to get more involved in the channel, but like Isaac is like super involved at the church right now. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, that's why this kind of stuff is silly, because like Isaac is now vice president of our corporation.
Oh wow.
So like I appointed him vice president of the corporation. He ain't going nowhere. Like, he's right here. And I mean, he just preached was it 2 Sundays ago? And if you guys haven't seen that, I mean, go back here on the channel and watch him. I mean, Isaac is doing a phenomenal job. Logan was just here over the weekend, and Logan is doing great. I mean, he's getting ready to, he's got all these offers from all over the place, man. He's going to be an engineer, and I mean, he's just that's phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm proud.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
Landon is involved in ministry and is going to a church that I used to work with when I was a kid. And so like I know those people really well there, and he's doing a really great job, and he's happy, and that's all I can ask for, man. My boys are happy, my family's happy, my dogs are happy. My girlfriend is amazing and beautiful, and like, yeah, was I expecting that? No. Was I expecting to meet somebody right away who gets me, who loves like me, who understands what I was going through, and I understand what she's going through, and she's super organized, so it helped really like kick my butt into gear. You know what I mean? Like, all those things, man. It's like, it's just life. Like, I don't know why people are so attached to it, but it's just life. And so I'm going to continue living and continue doing what I do. And so, I guess people can get bored after a while of, talking about stuff that doesn't make any sense. Kinky Sphincter has been a member for 37 months.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, man. That is awesome, Kinky. Says hashtag Snyder Cut, hashtag keep pounding. What now?
Keep pounding. Okay.
And then Beltray. How long has Anthony been here? For 30 months. Dang, dude. That is awesome. It says, Enosh, have you bought any DC toys in the past week? Not in the past week. There hasn't been a lot that's come out that I've like really wanted to buy lately. So yeah, I've just kind of McFarlane stuff. They've been doing like a bunch of weird figures lately that I'm not really into. And like Star Wars stuff, I'm not buying much Star Wars stuff until they completely go back to the window packaging.
Oh yeah.
Dead serious about
that. I'll be honest. Going to like Walmart and Target, I get really sad because I see some really cool figures, like new stuff, and I see the packaging, and I'm just like, I hate this so much. If I can't see the toy until I open the box and remove the packaging, that's a problem.
Like, it really, especially nowadays, RJ, because people switch that stuff out.
Well, not only that, it's like you don't even know until you open if it's damaged or not either.
Exactly.
Head's broken.
You don't know if your paint job has an eyeball over here, and lips down here. I mean, it's really sad.
Yeah, it was a huge mistake to do that packaging.
Yeah. So things like that. I mean, I'm reclaiming my life, and
yeah.
And
well, this Scream movie, it's going to be interesting because it's got so much controversy going into it, just because it's got a lot to overcome,
So we brought this up. So I do want to bring this up because you just brought this up about the packaging and stuff, and I did, and then Benson says more toys going that way to reduce plastic. So actually, Hasbro is going back to the old packaging, right? So they're taking and putting, like, they're using a different kind of plastic, and so so they're going back to it. It's just taking some time because they, for some reason, they quickly switched, and then now they've taken their slow, easy time to get back. So it's weird right now because some things are in the just box packaging, and then some things are in packaging again with windows. It's all over the place. So this is what it is. Dude, you need to take ownership of your own mistakes. You aren't able to, and that's sad. You are at a point where you need to try and be a better person. Not everything is someone else's problems. You must grow. You must try.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Oh, okay. You don't understand anything. I guess, but like, yeah, sure. But I do take responsibility for my own actions, and I have on more than one occasion. And there's like 2 people that have a problem with it. 2, and those people are very biased because they're involved. So the thing is like what you said there is great. What you said there is great and makes sense, right? People do need to take responsibility for their own actions and whatnot. I didn't do anything to cause Tiffanie to do what she did. There's no excuse for what Tiffanie did because Tiffanie didn't just do it to me. And like, we don't have to get into all this, but Tiffanie didn't do it to me. Tiffanie did it to the entire family. And that's what you're not realizing. Her boys are still here. Her boys are still with me. Not so much on the other side. Okay. So you need to understand that you may have a problem with me. You may not like me because you don't like my takes on Batman or Star Wars or whatever. But that's not real world. And I'm right here. When my son tells me, Dad, my room is right next to yours. And even though you're my stepdad, I've heard every conversation that you guys have had. And I respect you, Dad, for the way that you handle things. I'm okay. I'm good. I've taken responsibility for what I need to take care of. I've done the counseling thing. I have people that I'm accountable to. It's just not you. If you think that I'm going to be accountable to a bunch of nameless, faceless people on the internet, that doesn't make any sense, and that's not healthy. So let me do me. Let me take care of Enosh. You take care of your nameless, faceless self. Okay? How about that? Scream, though, talking about bloody messes. Neve Cambell, didn't come back for Scream 6.
Yeah, because Spyglass was very. They were being some cheap bastards. Didn't want to pay her.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they lose their entire new cast that they spent 2 movies building up.
I know.
And then they lost their director, the director of Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day 2 and Freaky. And then,
which I'm okay with them losing him. I'm sorry. I'm okay with
but either way, and so they fired Melissa Barrera because she made comments that they didn't like.
Yeah.
About political situation going on, which so stupid. I mean, I'm not even gonna get into all that. I think it was dumb to fire her. Jenna Ortega leaves. Probably, well, they say it's because of scheduling conflicts, but it's more so probably because she's like, no, I'm not working with you guys after that. And then they're like, okay, so we lost our cast, we lost our story, we lost our director. Nev, you want to come back?
Right.
Well,
Neve Cambell when we need her.
Of money to her house. We're sorry. Please come back. Please.
Well,
I think
please. They didn't lose their story necessarily because they're keeping a version of their script.
Are they keeping a version? Because I
Yes.
read her Instagram post and she said, well, it's Kevin Williamson, the creator of the franchise, is going to write and direct. First time director.
If he's coming back to write and direct, that's the perfect person to end it. If they do this movie, they need to end. I love Scream just as much as anybody else. Like, Scream's probably one of my favorite horror franchises, but I agree with a lot of people. I liked 6, but it should have ended for 5 for me. I think 5 would have been a great way to end it, but at the same time, the way they close off Neve in that movie felt super unsatisfying.
Well, I always because that's the problem with that is that they were definitely supposed to bring back Neve for this trilogy and finish the story with like probably a Scream 7, but now it's all kind of messed up because you got us invested in these new characters with Scream 5 and Scream 6, and now their story is going to be left unfinished probably forever. So it just kind of sucks.
Well, my thing too is like, where could they go with this? Like, where could they genuinely go?
I can tell you right now what they're going to do. None of you are going to like this. I'm telling you what they're going to do, though.
What do you think?
Because of the controversy, because they need to win back as many fans as possible, I guarantee it. within the next couple months, they're going to announce Matthew Lillard is back as Stu.
I was just about to say that too.
They're going to bring back Stu. I guarantee they're bringing back Stu.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're bringing back Stu. I guarantee that's the angle they're going for.
Well, that's going to be interesting too, because in the last movie, they made it a big point when they killed the girl with the TV that, hey, if you get a TV thrown at your head, you're dead. So they made a pretty good point about that in the last one. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but I can definitely see them doing it.
That's the only play I can think of. If this is if this is going to be the last movie, right?
Yeah.
To wrap up the story, you go full circle with the first movie and you bring back Stu. Everyone loves Matthew Lillard. He was just in Five Nights at Freddy's, and everyone loved him in that. He's, people will show up to see what he's in, especially if he comes back as that character. So that's the only thing I can think of what they could do. No, don't go.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Scream 7 got to go to space.
It's Ghost Space, not Ghost Space.
Do you think they bring back Patrick Dempsey as Sydney's husband? The guy from Scream, what was it, 3, I think?
Yeah, Scream 3, yeah.
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 You think they'll bring back Courtney too?
Well, you got to bring back Courtney. There's no way you don't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I just have a feeling Scream 7 is going to be as much nostalgia as possible just to try and get around the controversy. They're going to make this movie be such an event that any Scream fan can't skip it, even if they really want to, because of what happened with Melissa Barrera. Like I said, this movie just has like a lot going against it just because of the controversy and just because of what they did. Because they screwed over so many people and they screwed over the fans, I felt like, personally.
I really enjoy the core 4. I think a lot of people enjoyed the core 4. And that's going to be really interesting to see how they go forward with that, or if they just give a one line about them being out there or not.
I don't think any of them are coming back. If they're not bringing back the sisters, they're not bringing any of them back.
Or
I think all of them.
Or do they go out of their way and say, like, if they really want to kill those characters off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you go out of your way to somehow kill those characters off then? Like, make it an off-screen thing, or
like Ghostface bombs a college boardroom or something.
I think they will kill off Melissa Barrera's character. I think.
I mean, it would seem to make a lot of sense if they really want to make a point. But I mean, like a lot of stuff, and a lot of us are fans of wrestling here, right? So like, never say never, and never say anybody's really gone, or dead.
Yeah.
But I just think how they handled that was so bad. I'm sorry. I'm still mad about that because the way that went down was just not fair at all. It really.
The way what?
Well, just with the Melissa Barrera firing and just like them imploding their own movie, essentially. Like, it was just disappointing as a fan. It was
both ways. I've said it both ways, and I still stand by it. And that is the fact that like, people should be able to be free to believe what they want to believe and have the opinions that they want to have. I mean, obviously on social media and things like that, if you're working for a company or whatever, it's got to be within reason, right? You got to understand that there are certain things that like you need to be chill about. You know what I mean? There's a lot of opinions that I have, but I don't go blasting them all over the place because it's not for everybody to know, right? So the thing about this is that, obviously, the girls said, stuff that,
Well, and that's the great. Like, if you like, again, I don't want to get into the whole political aspect.
But then you got
to read it. Like, nothing she said was like borderline hate speech.
No.
Like, it was nothing like negative. It was just calling for a ceasefire and just bringing attention to something that she believed in about the conflict. That's it.
Yep.
I don't know. I just felt like feel like she got done dirty, and just like the whole project got done dirty.
Well, my thing too is, do we have a history of movies that have an actor in it that before the movie came out, the actor said something about politics or something like that in regards to real world problems, and that movie failed because of that one person? Do we have proof that has ever? I'm sure it's happened before. But in the past, like 5-10 years, has that really ever happened?
Look, even Tim Allen had one of the most successful sitcoms, and he was
exactly like
during.
They kept bringing him back too.
Well,
hell, I mean,
let's be honest, right? Most of the people who get fired, or it becomes this big deal about something, right? Because they said something politically incorrect. Most of most people aren't even really upset about it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, people may be offended about it. There's always that group that's like, oh, we're going to cancel them, and they shouldn't be able to live anymore.
It's the executives and the people in charge who are offended, not the actual audience.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not with Melissa Barrera. Nobody was actually upset with her. It was more so Spyglass being like, we don't agree with these statements and they make us uncomfortable. Sorry, you got to go.
Right.
Like, there was no online outrage. No one was calling for her to get fired at all.
No.
Period. It's just the studio's like, well, we don't like these statements. Sorry, you got to go.
Yeah. And so when I look at it that way, I just think like, look, there's a lot of comedians who get canceled. I mean, and like the real world doesn't care. Okay. Here's the thing. Everybody in the world doesn't care about your cause, right? Or my cause. And so the thing is, it's like, it's really easy, especially when it's stuff that like is pertaining to us in our life, right? And it's important to us. If somebody else takes that lightheartedly or in a mocking way, we get offended, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, just even now, like I on cue, right? But the thing is, whoops, see, I was trying to delete that. Hold on a second here, because I wanted to do this, but and I'm back.
Hey, man, that's probably an accurate picture of what that guy probably looks like. Probably does look like the Harkonnen from Dune.
Look, Baron Vladimir.
Right. But yeah, so it's just I just look at it as we can't police everybody. Everybody can't have we can't try to hold everybody to have the same values as we have or the same ideas about things that we have. So I see a big push. Like we were just talking about it yesterday, Austin, about Saturday Night Live, even. Like,
right.
Like there is begun to be this push back on the whole political correctness thing and the whole like acting like that. I mean,
I will say though, Enosh, I did listen to that point you made yesterday. I will say though, I'm not sure how long SNL runs, but once we get closer to election season, I think the quality is going to dip.
Absolutely.
I got a feeling it's going to dip because they're going to get into like the political jokes and all that.
Maybe, but
because like if you remember, like again, I'm not trying to.
So I'll actually argue a
during
point
the Trump
against
presidency. SNL got pretty bad.
Yeah, but let me add something against that though, because where Saturday Night Live usually and historically thrives is during political season.
Yep.
Because historically they have been across the board on everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
The last one got really, really lopsided.
But even then, they had Trump host.
Right.
Right.
Even then, they had, it was still funny stuff. It was actually the stuff more after Trump got elected that just became just almost unbearable to just watch. Because it's like, I don't care. Like I go through a whole week of having to deal with real world stuff. Like, please don't give me 8 sketches about Trump on Saturday night. Right? That's where I was like, enough is enough. Because I just don't want to see.
It basically just became a political comedy show.
Right. That's all you're making. It's just the Daily Show or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's this. And look, if you know that that's what you're going to get, then that's fine. But if you're going into it expecting to get a nice, well-rounded comedic experience, that's rough. But so, like, I hope that they are able to. This writing team seems really good, and so I'm hoping that this writing team steps it up, RJ, when it comes to political season, because
I hope so.
It doesn't have.
I just have a bad feeling about it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be bad. So,
yeah,
there you go. So I don't know if. So I guess I will just tell any mods in here, like, I'm not going to ever address that person again. So you see it, just delete it. They're not going to be seen, they're not going to be heard, and they're not going to be discussed. So there you go.
That's what you get.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think they can be good. But yeah, I do think that there's just, I mean, regardless if it's good or not, I am starting to see more and more people care less about that type of stuff because I think it's hard for anybody to keep up with.
Well, not only that,
Like
like the
political stuff?
97% of people that are seeing these movies that don't live on the internet don't care about this shit, and they don't know about this shit.
That's why it was so weird, like when they made such a big, like they did like a public lashing against her, being like,
Yeah.
like damn her the same way they did like with Gina Carano. I'm just like, I don't think that the audience would have cared if she came back. Like, I don't know.
No.
It was just, I don't know. But that's what I mean, though. I just feel like this movie has an uphill battle to fight. I mean, listen, I'm very happy Neve is back. Like, they should have paid her what she should have been paid with the last movie. And I'm glad she came back. I just think that it's very disingenuous from the studio because they only paid her when they had no other option.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't seem like it was very genuine. I mean, listen, I'm happy for her. She probably is getting a ton of money from this.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that I feel it's very disingenuous from the studio,
I think a part of them too I think they were trying to be grubby too, and they had all these cast members, especially the 4 core cast members. They didn't want to spend all that money on Courtney. Most of their money, let's be real, was spent on Courtney, David, and Sydney in 5. And for 5, I'm sure most of it went to Courtney because she's the one, the one legacy character in the film. So I think they're just cheap. They don't want to, they're not respectful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm interested to see. I wonder what that story is going to be, though. I mean, like, how do you bring Sydney back? They did such a. They went through to such great lengths to try to move the story on from Sydney.
Without her. Yeah. Like,
without her. And I thought they actually. The crazy thing is, they pulled it off.
Oh, yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
I love Scream 5 and Scream 6. I thought it worked great.
It worked. Good. So, like, now you have to go back. I don't know, man. It's got to be a good. You got to come up with a good angle to justify.
I'm telling you, man, it's going to be.
Other than the real world angle that we all know happened, you got to come up with a story that actually makes sense to bring her back into it.
Enosh, let me ask you this: do you think it's possible they bring back Stu? That's the angle they go with. As like the final movie, you bring back Stu. You bring back the original killer.
I don't think it'll be the final movie, dude.
You don't think it's gonna be the last one?
Nope. Dude, if history has taught us anything, every time they say this is the last one, it's the last ride. No, it's not, because you know what? This one will make money.
We've learned with Halloween.
See, I would have agreed with you if they would have kept the new cast, because that new cast you could have longevity with. Now you got to redo everything and go back to Sidney Prescott.
They'll figure out something. They will either try to do it again and try to pass it off again somehow. It may be a little tighter, closely, knit with Sydney instead of completely away from it. You know what I mean? But, it may be somebody related to Sydney or that Sydney knows, you know what I mean? Or something.
Oh, like a family member, like a niece or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
some way to tie that in still. But I don't see them ever stopping because there's money to be made, right? And I mean, look at Saw, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So they'll make Saw movies to the end of time. That is true.
Right? And every time you thought it was done because, well, Jigsaw is dead. Oh, is he? I mean, like,
they'll make movies set before he died.
And make make the timeline even more convoluted.
Right. Yeah, that's what we need is a Scream prequel.
Oh God, you know what's coming though. You know what's gonna happen.
What's that? Oh, that? You mean? You know that?
You know they're gonna do that, yeah.
Oh, prequel? Yeah.
Well, I think the only 2 ways you can bring Sydney back logically, where they left her off, is they kill Patrick Dempsey's character, which is probably my best bet of what's gonna happen. They're gonna kill him off, and that'll be her
call to action, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Either that, or they could be bold, and I would absolutely hate this, but they could kill off Courtney as well. I don't think they will, but they could.
At this point, like, everybody has survived so many freaking movies. Like, That's my only problem with it, right? Is like at some point, it's like Courtney has survived. She survived the last movie.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? That's why with Scream 5, I didn't. Spoiler alert for a movie that's been out for a while.
Yeah.
But they killed Dewey. And you know what? I'm like, was I sad about it? Yeah, but I'm like, dude, you survived 4 movies at this point. Like, it was not like eventually your luck's gonna run out, you know.
Every film too, he would get messed up. You know, he would get stabbed in the back, stabbed.
And
in the
this was the
arm.
one time he just he couldn't push through. That was it.
Escape. But here's my question to you guys: do you think they will? Because I don't think Neve has any interest in this franchise anymore. To be honest, I think she's interested in the money. And as she should be, that there's nothing wrong with that. She deserves all the money she can get. But do you guys think they will finally kill her off in this film?
No.
If they do, they'll bring her back in the next one, and she will be the murderer.
And that'll be the twist. That
Well,
she
here's
actually
something.
faked her death.
Here's something interesting. I would have liked if they kept Melissa Barrera. Is if Melissa is kind of, she's obviously not, well, if you've seen 5 and 6, she's not a well person. She has Billy in her head. So I think it'd be probably interesting if they kept her around to have Melissa be the new Ghostface and going after Sydney in some way. I think that would have been
that's the problem. I think that's where they were going with the story.
Yeah.
And now that's all screwed up. That's the problem.
Yeah, they messed it up.
Like, I think that's where the story was going. I do think that they were going to bring Neve back without the controversy. Just like I said, they shot themselves in the foot so hard. It still makes me mad.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Like I said, I love the overall story. I love those movies. I don't know, man. Maybe make Sydney the killer in this one.
You know what? Someone brought it up in chat. Who was it? Music Man. I would not be surprised if they pulled a Randy out of their ass and said, "Randy's alive."
No, they'll say Randy had a twin brother who is exactly the same as him.
God.
What if Sydney had a twin sister and Sydney's actually been dead since the first movie?
Oh, pull up Pretty Little Liars. Yeah.
No, please don't do that.
You know what I'm disappointed at? They're making another Final Destination movie.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that, Enosh, is they're filming it for IMAX. So that's going to be weird. Like a Final Destination movie filmed for IMAX. Like that's going to be interesting.
I just thought that the way that they closed up everything with the last Final Destination movie was
we're tied back to the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing. When that happened and we ended up back at that airport, I lost it, man. I was like, that is smart. Like, what was it? Like the 5th movie or 6th movie of that franchise? And it's like, you do something smart like that and tie it in together. Like, you make everybody feel like it was worth being here for 6 or 7 movies.
Especially
Like eventually it all just ends up becoming so formulaic that, especially with horror movies, because there's only so much you can do, and then it ends up becoming a thing of like, even like Ghostface, you end up with a killer who, it doesn't make any sense how this killer survives throughout the entire movie. The killer is getting his butt handed to him when there's multiple people who should be able to take this person out. And then you find out who the killer is at the end. And it's not like there's some special trained, Navy SEAL that's just wiping everybody out. It's like, no, it's Joe Schmo from down the street. They just decided to start killing people last week. And so, they got pretty good with a blade there. Like, it's dumb. It's just, but it's a trope that we all love. And it works, but eventually when you get to like the 6th and 7th movie and you're watching people get like banged around and like falling out of cars and hit by cars and falling out of buildings and getting stabbed over and over again, yet still somehow surviving.
Well, I think my problem with the last film was specifically because they had 3 ghost faces, and it's kind of up to you to kind of fill in the blanks of which ghost face was doing what person did they kill, what person did. My problem was most of the kills that the female was a part of, every time she's on screen and it's supposed to be her, it's literally, I can tell it's a stunt guy in a suit, and the stature of them, the movements of them, just the way their height, their build. I'm like, that's a man, but it's supposed to be a woman. So I think they should keep it consistent with some of the ghost face going forward, because it just it takes me out of it a little bit.
No, I don't know,
like,
Brad. I don't know, Brad. That's a judgment call that you're making there. How do you know?
Screams woke. Screams woke.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Where's you do suck when we need him? Bradley is woke. There you go. He can come up with a headline for you instead of me that I hate something. Yeah, it could be you.
But it's kind of like one of those nitpicks I have with movies in general, just like kind of like with the Godzilla movies, like the consistency of height and the consistency of their surroundings just doesn't add up to me. But that's just a nitpick.
No, I hear you. Like, I'm thinking about like the end of because Shayna and I watched all the Cloverfield movies again, because Shayna had never seen Cloverfield, and so I introduced her to Cloverfield, and it's like that last Cloverfield movie. You realize that like that last Cloverfield monster is so huge. Like, there is a video on YouTube that describes how big that Cloverfield monster is, because that's not the same Cloverfield monster.
No, it's a different one. Yeah.
You got a Cloverfield monster that is now higher than the clouds.
Yeah, it breaches the atmosphere almost.
Breaches the atmosphere, yeah.
Yeah.
So that is a huge beast. And like, how does something like that even survive?
It doesn't.
Like, it
makes no sense.
It would collapse under its own weight, because it would have to be so huge. I mean, it's the biggest monster that's ever been made.
Not only that, but you have gravity pulling from that high up. You have gravity,
the atmosphere. It's probably hard for it to breathe.
That's what I'm saying, right? And so like, and then somebody brought up, and there's like, well, maybe it's standing in the water. And it's like,
then why is it above the clouds?
It would be even taller if it was in the water.
Right. So it's like, I don't even know that's. It's just that monster is so huge, but I'm very interested in seeing where they go with that. You know?
Nicotina's mom! Oh yeah! Nicotina's mom!
Do you think they'll act? Because I know Cloverfield 2 was announced, like what, 10 years ago? Do you think that movie will ever happen?
It was like last year, wasn't it? That they announced
it was. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, it might have been.
So they're making a Cloverfield 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and an actual Cloverfield 2, like an actual sequel to that. But you know, I still stand by, and I don't care what anybody says. I just don't. You reached me too late. All 3 of those movies are good. I don't care. Like, I know people hate Paradox, but I'm sorry. I just rewatched it. I don't understand what's so wrong with Paradox. It's a good movie.
I think the problem with Paradox for me, because I don't think it's a horrible film. I don't think it's necessarily a good film either. But because if I remember correctly, Paradox was not supposed to be a Cloverfield film. It was supposed to be something.
They reworked it into a Cloverfield movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, neither was 10 Cloverfield Lane. And then for a while, the movie Overlord was supposed to be
a Cloverfield spinoff. Yeah.
Which I think would have been really interesting.
Me too.
It has nothing to do with Cloverfield, but it would have been cool.
Like,
Well, they changed it though once they realized that they weren't going to make it into a Cloverfield film, but originally it was supposed to tie into that universe. It was because it was all supposed to be all these like little, separate things that they would eventually, maybe bring together for something. And so,
yeah. I mean, I like the idea of Cloverfield being like an anthology film franchise where each movie does its own thing. It's just totally different. I mean, there's like similar imagery, like the monster or some other stuff, but like they're all different,
I think they need to pay it off though. Like if you're gonna have all these different things, you kind of like Cloverfield. What makes Cloverfield great for me is the vagueness of it and the kind of deep lore. You kind of have to do the research for yourself for people who know about Slusho and the oil company and all about the backstory of Cloverfield. It's all very fascinating, but I think that's something.
Why did you say that name?
I think that would make it.
Why did you say that name? Why did you say Slusho?
No, but I think that would make the next film even more interesting if they go into the backstory of all this and they kind of explain all the, yeah.
Dude, that would be awesome. I would love to see that. Because I just find the Cloverfield universe compelling.
It is.
I just do. So, you know,
They had a
I'm
similar marketing experience as Blair Witch in the sense of like they did a bunch of online marketing. If you want to know lore about the movie before it came out, even after, there's a bunch of, you can watch Cloverfield icebergs, you know, that are 3 hours long, and they'll tell you about
yeah. Yep. No, yeah, that's the great thing, man, is yeah, Cloverfield had such a great marketing campaign with it.
Yeah.
You know, I wish that the movie had been received better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I think that it did a great job. In that aspect, I think 10 Cloverfield Lane was a really good movie. You know, it's and Paradox was just kind of like one of the, to me, Paradox was such great sci-fi just because it was set, you know, in a world where obviously, you know, things were happening, and you know, there was power issues, you know, with energy and stuff, and so they're, you know, trying to get this, you know, halogen collider to work up, you know, up in space and everything, and then it just transports them to a different universe. How, I mean, with all of the whatchamacallit stuff with oh, what is that called when you think something happened and did the Mandela effect, right?
Yeah.
And everybody talks about, you know, how it's the, you know, the collider that, you know, has started this whole thing, you know, where it's messing with the universe and it's messing with space and time and stuff. And I thought that they took that to an interesting place with Cloverfield to say, like, they did the same thing, and this just like shot them into a different universe where they get to see the Earth, you know, and yeah, dang, I just, I don't know. I have a special heart for Cloverfield. So
isn't
plus it's got one of the
Paradox
best lines ever. It's got one of the best lines in a movie ever, and it's about Superman. Wait, you know who Superman is? I feel like if Superman by James Gunn does well, I need that drop to just play all the time. Like, you mean you know who Superman is?
Well, I think doesn't Paradox establish that the people on the spacecraft kind of jumpstart the alien invasions on these different universes, right?
Yeah, see, that was what was smart about that too, because everybody was like, "Oh, where did this alien come from in the first one?" And
Yeah.
you know, using and everything. But that was the beautiful thing, yes, Bradley, was that they actually explained that, like, this thing that happened right here can affect space and time in the future, but also in the past, releasing creatures and demons and things that we've never seen before. And it's almost shown as a throwaway line in that movie as being just on TV, because the scientist guy, you know, who was in Gotham, the guy, I can't remember his name, he was on Gotham.
Donald, I forgot his last name. It's Donald though. His first name.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, like, he's on there talking about what it could be and what could happen, and then we see that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. You know what I do? Okay, what I will say about that is, the one problem that I do have with it is it's never just straight up, this is what happened.
Yeah.
That's my problem with J.J. Abrams. Like, dude, at some point, just say, this is what happened. Okay? Stop leading us on like some wild goose chase. I love that part of it, Bradley, right? Where we have the slusho stuff. And
But
we can
Enosh,
do all
the
that
mystery box, Enosh.
But at some point, we got to know what's in the mystery box.
Yeah. And I think that's a part of retrofitting these films that weren't originally supposed to be Cloverfield films, and right. Them in the editing bay, or I'm sure pre-production, they jam these aliens in there, they jam the Cloverfield storyline in there. So I think going forward, if Cloverfield 2 happens, which it probably will in a long time, because JJ has commitment issues.
Well, he's got to make that Superman movie.
Like, that's like, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it probably will.
That's never happening.
Yeah, I don't think it will. But that's something that'll benefit them going forward if they stick to that. Make a clear film about Cloverfield and the lore and stuff. You know, stop dancing around it.
Tell us where that creature came from in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, don't be like, we're setting it up for like the next movie where we'll tell about the creature's home planet and where they came. No. Tell me, please, just where the creature came from, the important information, and show people fighting the thing. Like, make it a monster movie, man. You know what I mean? But like, use the lore that you have built up, right? And maybe go in, double in on the mystery box stuff for the lead up to the movie, but have it pay off in the movie.
Yeah. And
That's all.
having 3 films with very vague backstory and world building would benefit the next film, explaining all of that and kind of delving into it. If they do it another time, I think you lose a lot of Cloverfield fans, and you lose a lot of people in general. They don't care. So the vagueness in the mystery box only works for so long, until they need to just nut up and shut up.
Right. No, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. But like I said, with all of this stuff, look, man, when Scream 7 comes out, I'm still going to be there, right?
Absolutely.
I really hope that they do well with the franchise. Scream has been a franchise that has been pretty good. Like, even the ones that aren't great, it's still like, yeah, I had a fun time with that movie. Like, I don't hate any of the Scream movies.
Which one's your least favorite?
Maybe 4.
Really, 4? For me, it's 3. For me,
Yeah,
it's
3 for me too.
3 or 4. 3 or 4. It's been a while, and you know what? I'm trying to remember which. Hold on. What happens in 3?
3 is the one where it's like set in that Hollywood studio.
They're making Stab
Where
7.
they're making Stab.
Oh yeah.
That film's notoriously known for rewrites, and
yeah.
What
happened in 4 again?
4 is the one where they go back to the original town,
Woodsboro.
do sheriff, and it's about the one with Emma Roberts in it.
Then he has a book, and Emma Roberts is their little cousin.
4 was probably a little bit better than 3 for me, but they were both kind of
Yeah.
That's why 5 breathed new life into it for me, because I was like, this is interesting again. And then 6 was really interesting, and we loved it. So
The 2 guys who did 5 and 6 are one of the rare directors that know what they're doing in a franchise that they've never come into before. No one's ever come into Scream before but Wes Craven.
Yeah.
So I think they did a great job at representing Craven.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So I don't know, without those 2, I think Kevin Williamson will do a great job, because he's the one who jump-started Scream, him and Wes Craven.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I mean, I just hope it's a good movie.
Yeah, I hope it's good. I think it will be good. It'll make a bunch of money, I think, as the past 2 have made them. So my interest is like, well, what are they going to do with Halloween with this TV series? Like, them talking about.
I don't care. I'll be honest. The Halloween reboot trilogy fell off a cliff for me. That 3rd movie was so bad.
Yeah,
that 3rd movie was so bad.
I think Ends.
It was not that bad.
Ends over
horrible.
time.
Halloween Ends was horrible. Oh my god, that movie sucked.
It has
I hated Halloween Ends. I hated that movie. It was so bad.
What's interesting too is
the whole point of Halloween Ends. It's the final confrontation between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, and you build up another killer and do a horrible teenage romance movie for about 90% of your runtime, and then you only have Laurie interact with Michael in the very last couple minutes of the movie. No.
Like, the problem for Ends with me is like it is a guilty pleasure for me, in the sense of like it's a good bad movie for me in terms of horror and Halloween films. There's plenty out there, but that one.
And here's the thing though, the premise of Halloween Ends, I love the idea of the way that the town acts, the way that the people act creates another Michael Myers, basically. That's a great concept, where it's like they create the monster because of how they react to certain things, right? I love the idea of seeing a normal person devolve into a state of becoming a killer, how that happens. That's a great idea on paper. The way the movie executes it, though, horrible.
Yeah, they
Especially
waste
for the
Corey.
movie
I
that's
think
meant to be the end of the Michael Myers story. That's something you save for like later. You know,
me,
I don't
when,
know. I thought that movie was extremely disappointing.
yeah, Austin and I got to meet David Gordon Green after a screening of Halloween Ends, and we got to fill out screening questionnaires and all that stuff. It was
Yeah,
pretty cool. But
he was at our test screening.
yeah,
So
he told us too, and he said this in the trades as well. If this would have been a great ending for Halloween Ends, this would have made it probably one of my favorites for me. Is they thought of filming a scene of all of the happy shamrock, of a silver shamrock factory producing masks, like all the 3 masks from Halloween 3, and Michael Myers was going to be a part of those masks. So I think that would have been a great ending if they established that, Michael lives on through the mask and not through the man.
That would have been.
So you guys want to know a funny little thing about me? I have never, ever watched a Halloween movie.
Oh wow!
The original 1978?
Wow.
What? That's a classic.
I know. And I've never.
Not even during Halloween time, like a Halloween party.
Nope.
I thought one of your kids was into it, or maybe that was a different. Oh, Freddy. No, that was Nightmare. One of your kids.
Yep, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. So here's another funny thing, right? So like, I'm aware of Halloween. I understand the story. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff. I understand the pop culture relevance of it and like what happens basically in the movies. But like I loved Nightmare on Elm Street growing up. I love different things like American Werewolf in London, right? Not necessarily like all the big, ones. Like I never watched Candyman. I never watched Hellraiser because I saw part of Hellraiser at a friend's house and it freaked me the heck out when I was like 14, and I was like, nope, not watching that. And I just never returned to it because I just kind of thought it was silly. And then like with all the toys and all the stuff that I saw from Hellraiser, I was just like, yeah, because I'm not really into gore. I'm not into stuff.
Those movies are super gory and nasty. Right. It's funny that character became like a toy figure, Pinhead. I'm like, this movie like does not fly.
Yeah.
Right. And then, but then you got like Saw, right? Where like I watched the first Saw movie and I loved the first Saw movie, and then the second Saw movie I thought was really good. And then when I started watching the third Saw movie, I got 15 minutes in and I went, I can't shut it off. I've never watched a Saw movie since because I was like, this is just. It didn't have anything for me that like was compelling. It's like we're just showing people get killed in different ways now. We're not.
I actually enjoy the third one a lot, just with the father and son story, and with the daughter. I think that's probably the best part of that film. The ending is where.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask you. The Spiral movie with Chris Rock and Sam Jackson, the Saw spinoff movie.
Was
that any good?
No,
it's horrible.
No, it's awful. It is awful.
I was hoping it was good because it had a good cast.
It has a great cast, but you have to keep in mind it's a PG-13 Saw film. Not only that, but if you want to talk about predictability, the second the killer comes on screen in Saw, you know who it is. You know exactly who it is, and they try to pull this like thing in the film that like, oh, they make you think it's a woman because the Jigsaw voice is very feminized and it sounds lighter. It's not Tobin Bell because he didn't come back, thank God. But that Jigsaw movie is probably one of the worst modern installments in a horror franchise. It's so
Hold
bad.
up just a second, I'll be right back.
Okay. No, and the last one was actually pretty good. I enjoyed the last one. I don't know how I feel about the sympathetic John Kramer angle they're going for. I don't know how I necessarily feel about that, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't see the last one, but I know it got and the doing 11. So talk about those ones don't end; they keep going.
Well, my problem with 11 is I want to see more Saw films because I do enjoy the franchise, but they made the mistake of killing John in the third film, and so they're kind of trying to retrofit that mistake into something new, and that's fine. But there's only so much they've already done. prequel. They did a prequel called Jigsaw. That wasn't Spiral. And that I'm getting that mixed up. Spiral was rated R, I think, and
Right.
Jigsaw was PG-13, which was horrible too. But they did something interesting there.
Yeah,
I actually had a question for Enosh.
I've also never seen any Friday the 13th movie proper.
Ooh, really?
You would love Jason Lives, Enosh. I think it's like a classic monster movie. Great.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. Most of the Friday the 13th movies are bad, but they're funny kind of bad.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I mean, like I love Freddy versus Jason, and I'm very aware of Jason and what he does, and like what happens in the movies and stuff like that. But yeah, I just never got around to watching him. In fact, it's something that I've talked to Shayna about because I'm like, I need to watch those movies. Like,
I think you'd enjoy them.
Yeah, like
they're
I
silly.
watched Child's Play until the pandemic.
Yeah, you know what? I'd only ever seen the original. I'd never seen the sequels.
I had never seen any of them.
The sequels aren't that great.
I wanted to see them, and I said, "Yeah, okay, let's watch them." Yeah,
I think Child's Play 3 is probably my favorite.
What were you going to ask me, RJ?
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about the Superman movie, actually. So they're filming in Norway for the Fortress of Solitude. I was going to ask you, what's your favorite interpretation of the Fortress of Solitude? Like, because there's so many different ones. You got Golden Age, Silver Age, Donners with the crystals and the cartoons and everything, and then.
So the version in All-Star Superman is pretty cool. Just from being there, in the animated movie, I should say. I mean, that's pretty cool. But I mean, if we're talking overall, man, I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favorite from a standpoint of like what I believe to be in the Fortress of Solitude. Okay, because the Fortress of Solitude is Superman's, place, man. It's not his home or whatever, but it's his
a base, kind of.
Yeah, it's his base. It's his place of safety. It's his place to get away. It's his place to think. He has so many things, tied to the fortress as far as security and his Superman robots, and that's where he goes and does all of his experiments and his, whatever. So there has to be a lot more technology there than what we see in the Donner films, the
Donner, the Donner films are just purely crystals,
right?
Those white crystals.
Right. It's and that's things like, but it's never like differentiated between like what crystals are what, because the whole place is made out of crystals. So what crystals have those properties and what crystals don't? And I'm not saying that you can't have crystals that have those properties, and ones that don't, but it's very sterile, and there's nothing really there. I love the look of it though. I love the look of Donner's Fortress.
The all white lighting and the crystal reflections.
Yeah. It's classic, right? It's what it is, man. It's historic in its look. I mean, they brought it back for Smallville, that idea of that, and so I don't know. I feel like we haven't really gotten on in live action, at least on the big screen, really probably the quintessential Fortress of Solitude yet. I mean, but just going off purely aesthetics and nostalgia, Donner.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just off of nostalgia because that's what was there when I was a kid. Like I love the version really that was in the comics from like 86 to like the mid 90s, because that was
Because correct me if I'm wrong, but the fortress wasn't always in like the Arctic. It was sometimes in other places, wasn't it? Or was it always in the Arctic?
No, it's pretty much always in the Arctic because he put it up there because nobody was there, and then like he had the key. Like he's
that's what it was. The key, like a key, and there's like a door, like a colorful door or something. I saw.
Well, he had a big yellow door that was on it for a while, and it had the place for the key, but only he could lift the key. And then I like what they actually did in Superman, All-Star Superman, where it's like a regular size key kind of, but it's so heavy because it's made with like dense material from inside a star or something like that. So like you wouldn't be able to move the key unless you're Superman.
I think they'll do something like that for Superman. Yeah,
I think so too. I think we're going to get a very traditional Fortress of Solitude. Yeah. You know, I did like the take though. Like I I don't like it for the Fortress of Solitude, but I would have liked it if it would have been a place, and that is in the Man of Steel thing. In the Man of Steel movie, like with the ship.
Yeah, he didn't really have a traditional fortress. It was more like that ship, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah, and the thing is, the inside of that ship was more like what we've seen in the comics, but it was in a ship. You know what I mean? And so,
yeah, he never really built like a fortress that was just like without a ship. It was just like the ship was where everything was in. You know?
Yeah, and the ship was movable. So, but you know, I'm glad that we're going to get to see some of those things. I think Superman's going to be very nostalgic, but I'm hoping that it also.
Yeah, I know that's the biggest concern though. It's just how nostalgic is it going to be? Is it going to be too much like Donner? Because I know Superman Returns. You know, it wasn't what people were looking for at the time. I don't think people were ready for a return to Donner like that. You know, it was a little bit too much of a nostalgia heavy trip. You know.
Yeah, I think we're going to get Trunks.
Oh, if we get Trunks, man, people are going to be so mad. I already know. They're going to complain about the Trunks. I already know.
Yeah, I'm almost sure we're going to get Trunks, man. Like, and I'm here for it, man. I am all here for it, bro. Like I don't understand what people's problem is with Trunks.
Well, it's because they think it's too goofy and it just doesn't work in a modern sensibility in live action, at least.
Right. No, but it does. And the thing is like it just depends upon how you present it, you know? And even Zach said that he wanted to tried to use it, you know, but he just couldn't get it the way that it was, you know. Hey Ruthie, thank you for oops, where'd she go? Oh, I had her there. There she is. She's jumping off. She goes, lovely to spend time with you all. Excellent streaming, Enosh. Thank you so much, Ruthie. Yeah, we're going to be done here in just a couple minutes, but thank you so much for being here.
Have a good one, Ruth.
Yeah, see you, Ruth.
You don't think we're going to get Trunks? I think we're going to get Trunks because I think that Gunn is probably going to want to differentiate his Superman from
Cambell.
the Superman that we've had here in the last few years.
Yeah, we haven't had a live action Superman, film wise, you know, not television wise, with Trunks since Returns. And,
yeah,
you know,
which by the way,
go ahead.
No, sorry, I was going to say I love the fact that the emblem is huge because the Superman Returns suit, I forgot because I went back and looked at it. His chest symbol was so tiny. It's tiny. I'm just like, why would you do that?
It's kind of like the bat symbol for the.
Yeah, they tried to make it like the bat symbol, where the bat symbol is tiny. I'm like, no, make that thing big. Like, it just doesn't look right when it's tiny.
No, it doesn't.
I remember when that movie came out and they were trying to make this big point that, like, it doesn't have to, like, people were just, you know, trying to defend it, you know, and they were just like, the S symbol doesn't have to be big. It's, you know, it's gotten out of hand in the last few years and stuff. And it's like, no, it's supposed to cover his chest, man. Like, I remember I saw a picture of a Photoshop where they had just made the symbol bigger on his chest. And it made the suit look like 100 times better right off the bat.
And that's why the Kingdom Come suit that he wore later in the CW crossover looks so much better, because it actually was a big emblem and, you know, it had everything he needed for it, you know?
Yep. It'll be interesting to see how that emblem actually looks when they pull out and you can see the emblem on the chest, you know?
Yeah, it's not covered in snow. It's got lighting behind it and all that, yeah.
Right. You know, like I see a lot of people talking about it, you know, joking about it, mocking it like it looks like a basketball or something. But that's all.
Oh, yeah, like the material looks like a basketball, yeah.
All the suits look like that nowadays because they're all that stylized rubber or stylized spandex or whatever. So there's nothing different about that.
Well, I think it's funny, too. A lot of people complaining about that are Snyder fans, and the Man of Steel, you know, symbol literally looks like if you want to talk about basketball texture, I mean, come on. I mean, I get the medieval chainmail look of it, and that's cool. I like that little detail of Cavill's S, but I mean, look at even Tyler Hoechlin's symbol. I mean, it looks a little, the texture. The texture. People nitpicking the texture. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, that's
Find
just
something
what
better to
that's
complain
what
about.
nerds do, though. Nerds. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a Facebook group out there called because I found it while I was scrolling through my feed. Because sometimes Facebook will recommend you. So it's called James Gunn Nepotism Posting.
Oh yeah.
That Facebook group. Wow, you
And
want
they
to
don't
lose faith in humanity? Go scroll through that. It's bad.
James. Or I mean James. I called you James. That's funny. No, RJ. The thing is that like there's that page, and you know what the funny thing is about that page? Rarely do they post about a nepotism thing with James Gunn.
Oh no, it's not about nepotism anymore. It's just about I swear to Jesus, man. Half of the posts now are just saying that David Cornsweet looks ugly and Rachel Brosnan has a big forehead. That's all the posts I was seeing from them.
And reposts of that Superman suit that was debunked, that it doesn't exist, just putting that next to a picture of Cambell and acting like you did something.
The thing that cracks me up is the supposed people who know what the budget is and think that the budget is $350 million, which you're an idiot if you believe that. And yeah.
Well, Bradley,
I just don't get the whole thing of like I've seen the post where it's just like they say that David Cornsweet looks like super ugly and all nasty looking, like he's got like a disfigured face. I'm just like, what? I'm just like, how does he have a disfigured face?
But then somebody will say, he looks just like Cambell. It's dumb that they hired him because he looks just like Cambell. If you're going to do that, why don't you just keep Cambell? Like, so which is it? Is he ugly and stupid looking and looks like you bought him from Wish? Or does he look just like Cambell and you're pissed off about it? Make up your mind. You know what I mean? Like, dude, Bradley, you just hit the nail on the head. Like, it's people talking about a bunch of stuff like they know something and they don't know anything.
They don't know.
And so, you know what? I guess when they get in their own little echo chambers, like people around them go, yeah, buddy, you did a good job. Just like my own trolls, right? Trying to tell me what happens with my own life. Right? So I'm sure they get around with their buddies.
Yeah, they know your daily life and routine better than you know it yourself, apparently.
They're watching you, Enosh.
They're watching me at all times, right? So, you know what I mean? Well, there's Ben. Hey, Ben. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Ben?
But yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing is like these people don't know anything. And that's kind of like what Austin and I were talking about last week, right? About these people who just say all these things. They do all these things. It's in bad faith. They really don't know a thing. They don't have any connections. They don't have any inside knowledge of what's going on, but they have a Twitter account. And now they can put a little blue check mark next to their name
and get paid.
And now they can call themselves something cool like Cine Film or Cine House or
I know that account. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
We call ourselves something all official sounding, and then people will go,
So that way we
it's a news source.
But we're not a trade.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, hold on, wait. Austin, what did you just say?
So that way we sound like a trade, but aren't a trade.
Right.
We sound like we're a little.
That's the problem. That's the problem. And you know what? And that's where we get that's where those of us who are doing this on a regular basis and we study up on this stuff and we know like the sites that are real and the sites that aren't. Like you just get tired every once in a while of hearing how there's going to be a crossover between Fraggle Rock and Star Wars.
Right.
Because XYZ, I always love John Campia's things. He's like, it was like xyz.fart.com or something like that, put it out there.
Dude, but that'd be awesome though. I'd watch that crossover.
Well, yeah, if what I it's like it's just gotten to the point where it's like anybody, it seems, can just do anything and convince. If they're convincing it all, that's where it gets scary, right? Because they're putting themselves out there as these trades, but in reality, they're just biased fans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like when people were trying to say that John Cena being naked at the Oscars was like a blood ritual Illuminati thing. Yeah. Did you hear about that controversy?
Somebody brought that up and then put Cat Williams' little clip of when they make you dress like a woman and they make you perform.
Yeah, apparently that's the conspiracy that they did they made John Cena publicly humiliate himself to join the Hollywood League.
Dude, I'm like, you realize John Cena's been naked for almost his entire professional fucking career? Jesus Christ! Like, what are you talking about? You're
He was in
mad that
that Amy Schumer movie, Trainwreck, which was actually pretty good.
right, he was in that. He's been wrestling in
And
his undies
Trainwreck,
for how long? Like,
and remember, in Trainwreck, he's literally just hanging a towel off his penis.
yeah.
The movie opens with him having sex with Amy Schumer.
That how it opened? I just remember they had.
That's how it opens. Yeah.
GusComic.fart.com for all of the latest news on DC, Marvel, Star Wars, and pop culture.
Well, I think what's funny, I wanted to bring this up too, and I've kind of held back on making this comparison for a while until I've seen what I needed to see to make this comparison. But we know from experience, from watching and dealing with geeks and gamers and all these people who trash on Disney every single day. It sounds very in tune with the people who trash on Warner Brothers every single day and who do nothing but negatively speculate every single goddamn day.
Just like to tease everybody a little bit, just tickling it a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. It's all these complaints, and that's the funny thing is like everybody. Well, it's like you said, it's all like over exaggeration. Someone, oh, the Batman got delayed. It's gonna get canceled. Oh, it's not.
Or
okay, we just
and that's new. That James Gunn is purposely burying this movie because he doesn't want it to compete with Superman. I'm like, why would you want to bury a movie that makes you money?
Can make more money in the same year.
Put that out there. I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like, I mean,
or that was the whole thing with the Superman and Lois thing too. Oh, he doesn't want any other Superman out there because he doesn't want it to compete with them because it will be better than his.
And of course, Gunn.
Even though those same people didn't give a damn about that show at all.
So can I ask this question? Which is it? Does James Gunn control all of DC where he can literally have effect on all of the properties that he has not even had anything to do with? Because like all of the end movies of the DCEU are all his fault, right? Because he screwed them all up. So Black Adam is his fault. The Flash is his fault. Blue Beetle is his fault, right? But you're going to tell me that James Gunn doesn't have the power and authority to like go tell them not to do something in their freaking Superman TV show because he's doing it in his movie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the argument too that people bring up, like, oh, how do you think Superman will make money if the last 3 DC films didn't make any money? And it's all James Gunn's fault. Blah, 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 blah.
To be fair though, I can kind of get the argument about, well, is Superman going to do well because the last year DC failed box office wise?
Well, I think
only because I could see some people being like, maybe it's just the brand is damaged. You know, maybe just the brand needs a break, you know?
Well, I think regardless of what the last few years have taught us after the pandemic and during the pandemic, no matter what IP it is, people will go see a good movie regardless. Yeah. And regarding The Flash, I mean, not even to mention that, I think the big mistake that they made, and there was no dancing around this, there was no waiting, you know, if they really wanted to jump ahead, announcing that the DCU was happening in the middle of those 3 films coming out or before those 3 films coming out, I think that somehow affected it as well.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
Yeah,
and I blame the investors in Zaslav because I think they rushed that slate announcement because they wanted the investors to be happy and confident in what they were doing. And I don't think they thought about the long-term effects of that.
Also, too, because the fans were clamoring for. I mean, my God, and this has been an issue for how many years? Now we were in a limbo situation for almost a year of who the hell is even running the thing? They're literally so. It was understandable like why they had to announce it, why they had to announce that, like they had plans, but they, you know, I mean, too though, it's kind of funny, you know, you would think, well, if all these movies like The Flash and stuff were attached to the Snyderverse and all that, if they were so strong in their own right, they should have done fine, you know. Still,
well, that's because the DC fandom was so divided. I mean, how many times did people call The Flash the trash or the flush or all that? And they said, "Oh, God, it's Justice League again," you know. Same thing with the when the Black Adam Henry Cavill cameo came out, people were so mad about the way he looked in the music. It's like, oh, it's Justice League Superman. He's not.
Dude, that you are exactly right. All the Snyder fans that I know, well, not all the Snyder fans, because I know some pretty smart Snyder fans, but a lot of Snyder fans, when that came out, griped and complained about Henry Cavill. They're like, well, it's not gonna change anything just to have a little stinger at the end of the movie. Like, I'm not going to see it for 20 seconds of Henry Cavill. You're gonna have to do better than that. You bring him back, and then I'll give it a shot. Like, you
And
realize, like, it's your fault, right?
Yep.
You realize it's your fault. And you
And
know
they-
what? Especially, I bet you right now, there are people right now trying to figure out how to spin it to act like James Gunn is lying when he says that his movie was, that he was hired by DeLuca and that he wrote his film as an Elseworlds movie. No,
gonna be like
he
the
was
Batman.
always writing his to take over because he hates Zack Snyder and he hates the DCEU and he hates everybody who's a good fan of that. No, he doesn't. Like that.
Well, see,
People
that brings up a good point, though, and I wanted to ask everyone about this because that surprised me when he said that. He said that it was DeLuca and presumably DeLuca and Abdi. They hired him to write a Superman movie, right?
Absolutely.
At the same time, though, they were also the ones planning the return of Henry Cavill, and they were the ones preparing for what the Hollywood Reporter called one last go around to the Snyderverse, right? They were going to do at least something with those actors for one last run, right? So my question is, what happened? What happened? I don't understand. Like, why were they hiring James Gunn to do a Superman movie while at the same time they were doing stuff with Cavill on the side? This is weird to me.
I'll tell you what happened. They're trying to give. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Austin. Sorry.
No, they already had the Batman going as an Elseworld universe. Why the hell not? And if they're, sure, they were planning to, if it goes well, if people come out, right, for this Black Adam cameo, like they want, then yeah, let's give that one last go. Show us that you want this. Instead, it got a bunch of criticism. It got this and that. It's called having a backup plan in this business. People are so shocked that, like, you criticize WB for all this time, and for once, they have a backup plan. Okay, here's a direction we can go if Black Adam does well, and here's a direction we can go if it doesn't. Let's be ready. And that's what they did. Black Adam tanked. They went along and said, you know what? Let's end this whole thing. It's not worth it anymore. We are losing money. We're spending like I'm sorry. It's at the end of the day, it was not worth it anymore. That's what changed. It was.
Well, I don't think if Black Adam made $1 billion, they would keep going with the DCEU. I don't think if it made money, I don't think that was the problem. I think they were already jumping ahead of that before Black Adam even came out.
If Black Adam would have made money, I guarantee Black Adam would have even touched $700 million, which is what most of The Rock's projects does, like San Andreas, some of the other ones. Like, he usually can get, even if it would have gotten that mark, I guarantee you Black Adam would have gotten a sequel. No questions asked.
I don't think so.
I guarantee.
I think the Cavill thing was to shut up The Rock, and The Rock was trying to use Cavill to pedestal his film, and that was it. I don't think The
Rock had his own plans for a universe. He was ready to get on Pam.
Well, it's not The Rock's universe, though, and that's the problem I have with The Rock, is he was trying to come in and take control of his section, which is that's not how it works.
The Rock was trying to do.
He had support too.
Yeah. Basically, Rock was trying to revive DC by making it revolve around Black Adam fighting the Justice League. That's what he wanted to do.
Still including Snyder.
And I'll just say this. I think there was probably a time in all that where if Black Adam had knocked it out of the park, okay, if Black Adam had been very viable, I think what they were really trying to do was to address the problem that had been there with so many people who did not like Snyder's take on certain characters.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you do with that? If you say, okay, this is our main continuity, but we have a problem right here with divided fans, because we have some fans who want to see 1978 Superman all over again. And then we have some fans who really, really love Henry Cavill. But the problem is that separate, those numbers are not impressive.
No.
Together, those numbers are a good thing.
Because a united fan base is stronger than a divided one.
Right. And the thing is if a fan base knows that there is something else that's there that they do enjoy a whole lot more, they're more than willing a lot of times to still watch the other thing because they're interested in it, but they know that that's not just going to be the only thing that they're going to get. Right. So they'll branch off and they'll watch an Elseworlds, or like, because there's a lot of people who would have probably watched James Gunn's Superman and looked at the DCEU as the Elseworld, right? But you could do that whatever you wanted to, depending upon where in the multiverse you were, and that would have been fine. But that's why when I hear James Gunn say, "Well, you know, like I was picked to write this movie as an Elseworlds project." Well, if it's an Elseworlds project, they're obviously not talking. They weren't thinking about replacing everything with this, but.
Right.
When Black Adam absolutely bombs, and I don't care what The Rock says, it bombed. There is no saving that universe.
Yeah.
Right? If it had done well, they could say, okay, look, people came out. We put Henry Cavill in there, and people came out. Right? So, but they didn't do that. Right? People didn't come out. People didn't support it. So if they didn't support it, why would we continue with anything? Right? And so now there's all these, Monday morning chair quarterbacks saying, like, oh, they screwed us over. They promised us Cavill and then they took him away. No, you didn't go see him. He was right there, and you didn't care. And you made it very public that you didn't care. That there was nothing that they were going to do because Warner Brothers sucks, and there's nothing that they're going to do that ever makes you like it again. And it's nothing that they're ever going to do that's ever going to make you go watch Black Adam or whatever funny name that they gave it, whatever. And then they started turning on Zachary Levi. And that's a problem because then Zachary Levi was saying stuff, and Zachary Levi was putting himself in a position where those fans that didn't like it already, now all of a sudden they had Shazam to attack. Is Shazam?
Oh yeah, because he basically said that. What did he say? That it was basically like the Snyder thing didn't work out, or he said something to that effect. Yeah.
Right. And so now you got a problem because even though The Rock would not like us to know this, we who actually know these characters know that Shazam and Black Adam are connected, right? So now we got this problem because now everybody's just upset. And that's the problem. It's a bunch of false outrage, right? People upset about stuff that has nothing to do with you. I get it. We have preferences. Was I happy when I heard that Henry Cavill wasn't going to be? No, go back and watch my videos because I made it known. So there's nothing wrong with having an opinion and making it known. But this like drawing things out, okay? This drawing things out and just making it last forever, just bitching and complaining about everything, talking about Snyder till you're blue in the face and at nauseum and making up history and just making up things for James Gunn to be bad about.
Yep.
Like, it's like I've said over and over again, listen, if you have an issue with James Gunn's tweets from however many years ago, you know what? I can respect that because those tweets were disgusting. There is nothing funny about it. There's nothing funny about making fun of that topic. But also, check this out. Maybe let's do a little bit of research, okay? James Gunn, where did he come from? Trauma. Go watch a trauma movie and tell me how that's out of line for people who would come from trauma. You know why? Because trauma goes for the lowest common denominator. Trauma is going for the lowest laugh it can get. Go watch The Toxic Avenger and tell me that is somehow brilliant cinema that is supposed to be. No, it is what it is, man. They know what it is. There's naked girls. There's radioactive goo. There's people wearing crazy, rubber masks, and stuff. That's what those movies are. And the humor in them is very crass. It's very low brow. And so what I see more of that, when I see it, I think it's disgusting. I think it's gross. But I see where he comes from. And
I wonder, because obviously there's a bunch of people higher up than me with a lot more access to James Gunn who've had conversations with him. And they've had the tough conversations with James Gunn about this, okay? So my thing is, I don't know everything about this, nor do I need to. But I look at it as, he came from that environment. And the way it looked to me, it was more of a slam at the Catholic Church.
Yeah, which he might have some history with that about, bad experience.
Right.
Which
And
that
so,
might have also
but the thing is, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But I do know this. I know the entire cast of Guardians of the Galaxy said they weren't coming back unless they brought James Gunn back.
Dave Bautista went to war against Disney, man. If you remember back in the day, like he was like publicly calling them out on Twitter every single day.
Yes. Okay. And so listen, we can say all we want, but we don't know. And so that's what I'm talking about, this false outrage and this absolute obsession. Okay? And look, gosh, it's our world, man. How much time did we spend in this stream alone with people who are crazily and weirdly obsessed? Right? It amazes me. It really does, because I love things that I love. I love Star Wars. Okay. If I ever met George Lucas, I would be like over the moon. Okay. But I still say, like, I still look at him as a human being, and there's things about Star Wars that I think that he could have done better. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But in all that, it's like, we don't have to go to this place where we're so obsessed in everything that doesn't end up like we like it. We just attack, or we act like it's bad, or we're going to make it our own personal mission to just troll people and attack people and go after James Gunn and go after everybody in WB. And look, there's people in WB that need to be gone after, because they've proven themselves to be absolutely horrible people in real life, right? So I get that. But can we actually talk about like the real issues and not made up stuff, right? When you post a picture of that fake David Corn Sweat Superman outfit, and then you try to act like you did something by doing that, you lost me, because it's not based on truth. The Snyder community came together, guys, based on some truth. Based on the truth that a man was wronged because his movie was taken away. We were lied to as the public and told that, oh, Zach just wants to take a step back and he's giving it to his good buddy Joss Whedon, right? And so, that wasn't true, right? And then we found out what the studio did to Zach in accordance with his daughter and all of that. And then then Zach started talking about, hey, my movie is there. I've got it. I just got to finish it, but I've got it. And so we were like, no, you know what? There was a wrong done here. Let's campaign for something right. And that was the thing, was in those early days, there were people who were doing this for the right reason. They were doing this to raise money for AFSP. And like, just even with the interview last week where Zach, Zach won't say, and I got RJ here, right? So I get it. Matt Jarb always says, Zach won't turn down a paying customer.
Yes,
But
that is a famous line, yeah.
deeper than that, though, because with what Zach said this last week, you notice he didn't say that they weren't toxic. He didn't say, oh, they're not toxic. He said, well, yeah, but they did this. Okay. And the way that he said it, I didn't take it as like it was okay that they're that way. Just, you got to admit the good that they've done.
Yeah, it's more so like focusing on the good stuff rather than the negative. Yeah.
Right. And he doesn't want that to stop. And what he said, did you notice what Zach said? Zach said, that money saved real lives.
Yeah, that money actually went to saving people.
For someone who has lost his daughter, do you not think that Zach would probably do just about anything to keep that going? Because it means something to him? That he would want people to keep giving to AFSP and supporting, when he knows that these fans have given over $1 million to AFSP. Those are real lives that are being saved. Who cares at the end of the day about Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and everybody else when it comes to real lives that are being saved? Right? And so that's the way that I take that. That's the way that it means something to me. And I say to that, that is how we started as Snyder fans, a lot of us, right? Was just standing for something we thought was right. The problem with the Snyderverse fandom, as it were, today, is that there's no clear cause. It's just we didn't get what we want.
It's a question of what we're fighting for at this point.
Yeah. Before it was
What are we
we're
trying-
fighting for something true. We're fighting for the memory of someone's life. We're fighting for a director who was robbed of his opportunity to show his film. Now we're just going, oh, I didn't like where they went with this, and they didn't give me what I wanted. So now I'm going to raise this stink. It's not even a cause anymore.
What's funny to me is Zack Snyder hasn't been involved in DC since 2017. Okay, he finished his cut. That doesn't mean he was part of DC, or he was actual a DC employee. He was given some money to finish his cut. So these people that after the Snyder cut released, and I don't think it was a mistake to release it. I think it was a really big benefit for them and for Snyder himself, and specifically. But I don't know where these people got the impression that Warner Brothers or Zack were going to continue after the cut was released. They gave no implication. In fact, they even released an article the week after with into the whole Ann Sarnoff thing, basically saying that, hey, you got your cut. There you go. We're going to move on to other things, as they should, and continue that. And if a lot of people want to sit here and talk about the business practicality of things, what's the business practicality of bringing back Snyder for a $250 million Justice League film when they can barely make money out of Blue Beetle or The Flash or something like that? But people will argue, oh, Snyder's name wasn't on it. That's why. But another big problem I have to touch on, another point you made, is you might like Snyder's deconstructive approach. I don't hate it. I don't mind it. But to sit there and say that should be the definitive way going forward for all superhero films, let alone DC characters, I don't think you're a DC fan. And I don't think you're doing a good job at making yourself look like one, because you're not.
And
That's a great point, Bradley, because and I know that there's a lot of mocking these days about talking about like real DC fans. No, here's the thing. I've said it, and you hit the nail right on the head, man. These are characters that existed long before this, and they're going to exist long after Snyder's gone and everything. There's going to be different people to play these characters. There's going to be, different people who write them differently and everything. And at this point, just why can't you just come to terms with that?
Right.
And
that's the thing too. Even with the talking about now it's got no direction. So even with the Cell movement, okay, it's got a direction, but now that's not a direction everybody can get under, because like Bradley said, you're just selling it to give it to one guy that's going to make the movie that you want and all that. Like,
I think also the issue is that not everyone's on board with that idea. Some people don't have viability in it, and that's where the issues come in. Why you're seeing fractures, because some people believe that that's a viable option, some people don't, right? So that's where
it's not a viable option.
Okay, so Integrity, I want to say something though. Integrity, I get what you're saying, but first of all, even if it was just one production, let's say it is just one production, it doesn't make sense though to spend that much money on something right now.
No.
Yeah.
When Bradley just said, like, they can't get they can't get any other movies to even make any money. They can't get people to go out to see low level stuff. And the thing is can we admit that, like, not everybody loves Zack Snyder stuff the way that we do, right? So I love it. I would be there opening day, man. I'd go see it a few times.
Well, just look at how people responded to the Joe Rogan interview. People got so up in arms and angry about that,
Right. But the thing is, but I wanted to say too, Integrity, the problem is with this is there may be some rational people like you and a couple others to go, you know what, I would just like to see the closer. Let's just finish out the thing, and like pass on the torch, right? Like one production, just get it done, right? The problem is, man, is that like the stuff that I see out there is not just, hey, we just want that one and done. No, that's not good enough. At least people they want Man of Steel 2, they want Justice League 2 and 3, they want the Batfleck movie, and then they start adding on weird stuff sometimes that like I don't even know,
like Wonder Woman 1854, whatever that was, or like
I've seen like movies get added to
the
this
Cyborg movie.
Like where'd that even come from, right? But like I saw one guy that literally made the same comment that you just did, Integrity, except for he replaced the number. You know what he said? It's only 8 productions. I swear to God, I swear to you, Integrity, that is what he said in this chat. And it was just, it's only 8 productions. If they make that, then we'll just leave them alone. You're talking a whole series.
Basically an entire slate of movies.
Right.
Right.
Like how, thank you, you do suck. How is that only 8 movies? Most franchises don't even have 8 movies. So I don't understand, but I chalked that up, right, with that guy who told me that, nobody should ever play Superman again, except for they should just get some bodybuilder to stand in and then just, AI his face to look like Christopher Reeve. Because Christopher Reeve was the perfect Superman and nobody else will be, Superman.
Because AI will do a great performance. Wow. Well, this is my hot take, right? And this is why, like, I've posited this question so many times, right? But like, again, I'm not trying to be disparaging towards the Snyderverse. I enjoy those movies very, very, very much, of course. My whole thing though is just like, do you think if Warner Brothers Discovery thought that there was truly value in continuing it, that wouldn't have been the option they went with?
The Snyder?
Like something must have happened, like internally, where they looked at the hard cold facts and the hard cold data and the numbers, and were just like, it would be more profitable to reboot versus continuing this. That decision doesn't come out. That the decision to reboot doesn't come out of nowhere. There has to be a reason for it, and I think it's a monetary one.
That, and also probably the divisiveness of it. I mean, like, let's be honest. I mean, like we said, right? We like it. We're cool with it. But a lot of fans aren't. And right now, yeah, when you're starting a universe, divisiveness is not a very good thing. I don't
even think it's about the opinions. I just think it's a money thing. There's got to be something with the money to where they don't think it's viable.
No. I think both. And Integrity said, not everybody's gonna like the same thing and all of that. Sure. But again, you can still have those types and still have, as long as you have a majority, leaning towards one side, that's enough. Look, he brought up the Batman. Yeah, not everybody loves the Batman, but I would say a good majority like the Batman. You look at the critics, you look at the audiences, and it's more than likely more people like the Batman than don't. Not saying it's a bad thing if you don't. That's perfectly fine. But it's the same thing on the Snyderverse, right? More people probably are not interested and didn't like the Snyderverse than probably did. And that's what, again, Snyder fans just need to understand that, but they refuse to.
Well, and to bring up Forrest's comment, like, I agree, it's a risky idea to reboot and start fresh, like, especially where we're at with the superhero movies and just how long they've been running, right? I don't dispute that. But, like, look at who David Zaslav is. Look how much of a cheapskate he is. Look how much he likes to cut corners and save money, right? That guy just wants to make money, okay? Like, that kind of person, like, I'm just saying, guys, like, I just think personally there has to be something that they saw that put them in this direction. This doesn't come out of nowhere, is what I'm saying.
No.
Like, there's got to be a monetary reason why they decide. Like, I truly think there was something that happened, like some data, something happened where they saw the money, they saw the viability, and were just like, this is not the direction we can go, and we need to go do something completely different. This doesn't come out of nowhere.
I think it's more of a risk to continue something that doesn't make profit. When you have from Wonder Woman 84, okay, until Aquaman 2, those movies didn't make money. They didn't make any money. So why would they, like, fourth, why would it be less of a risk to continue a universe that is slowly bleeding out cash and bleeding out fans? Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, sure, the Snyder Cut was pretty big when it came out, but you know how much money they spent on Justice League alone? Like, not just the Snyder Cut. We're talking about Justice League from 2017. They spent a shit ton of money on those two films. Okay,
and
so
I think I speak for everyone. Like, I think all of us want it to happen. It's just more so a thing. Like, I don't think it makes financial sense for them. That's the biggest issue. Like, I don't think they see monetary value in it at this point. They think that a reboot is the better way to go to make money.
Okay, but let's not talk about those latter films. Man of Steel, 600, a little over 600 million, right? Close to 700 million. But when you break it down, the Deadline did a whole thing, right? From after the advertising, after the marketing, after making, all these toys and all that, that ended up profiting around $50 million. They still went on, wanted to continue, but that's why it wasn't directly with the Man of Steel 2. They wanted to bring Batman in. Okay, Batman goes on, makes 800 million, close to 900 million. Fine, terrible reviews, horrible second weekend, a lot of fan backlash. Justice League, this is the big one, and this is before everybody knew, right, what had happened to Snyder, this was when we all believed, even if you were a Snyder fan, I don't care what you say, that you think you knew before that, because you did it. Even if you were a Snyder fan, because they had the cast, and everyone come out and go, yeah, this is Snyder approved. We all believed when that movie released, it was a Snyder approved movie. The Justice League movie, I think, was the killer. It came in with 600 million, I think, too. Like,
oh no, Justice League was a bomb. Yeah, that movie was a bomb.
It was a huge bomb. Yeah.
Not only with the Monte, like, that's one of those movies, okay, where you talk about, oh, the Trinity should have brought in $1 billion, blah blah blah. Okay, fine, we can argue back and forth to that. The Justice League should have brought in $1 billion. I don't care what you say.
That movie got rejected. Yeah, that movie was just flat out rejected.
It got rejected, but it was terrible, right? And again, this was before we knew, Snyder was not involved with that cut, that it was taken from him and all of that. People lost interest. When you do 3 things after that and they fail in the audience's eyes, and the mainstream audience's eyes, that's what's going to happen. And then, of course, they keep going, but it was a bumpy road. You're
an ass. Your mind is an explosive source of shitty ideas, and all to do what?
Well, a lot of people make an argument that just because Zack Snyder's name wasn't on the other films, that's why they didn't make money. That's a bullshit argument. An absolute bullshit argument. If you think Zack
Snyder...
doing
the math right now, Bradley.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning at sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning. If we used to go 1-on-1 and then add 66 and 2/3%, I got a.
Yeah. That's just the point that I try to make, and just what I've said to people. Just I just don't think that they see value in continuing it. That's why they went in this direction. There's a money reason why they just don't want to do it.
And to address integrity.
Yeah, go ahead, baby. Sorry.
To address integrity, fans don't need to give a shit about the budget or how profitable a film is. The studio needs to give a shit about how much money they're spending and what they're doing. But the fans don't matter to them. We don't matter to the studios. They don't care.
Bradley, see, that's because, like, everybody always says, well, all he cares about the money. Yep. That is why. Can we just admit that like, the studios are not making these things because they like you.
No.
They're not making Superman and Batman because they like Superman and Batman. They don't like the stuff that you like.
It's a business.
They don't care what you... They don't care what you like, because you know what? That's never been the way that movies have been made. It's never been a thing of hey, let's ask the public. Let's do a public poll and ask them what they would like to see in a Superman movie.
And
What would you
fourth,
like,
I'm sorry, but
Bradley?
but fourth, your arguments is more stupid. So I don't know what you're trying to get at.
I'm just saying, like, we have there's all these things that, like, the studio isn't going to do, right? And yes, we could say that it's our money because we give it to it, but then don't go. But the thing here is that what we fail to recognize is that if it's something that appeals to the masses, our niche little things are not going to have that way. Like when I see some Snyder fans acting like they're single-handedly sabotaging everything,
right?
I have a really hard time believing that. I have a really hard time because so far, we have not made a movie explode to greatness financially. I will agree with you, Integrity, and You Do Suck, that the early Snyder films, they did well financially. They don't get enough praise, actually, for what they did, because people start bringing in these other arguments about, oh, it's Batman and Wonder Woman in the same movie.
It's because the studio had unrealistic expectations. That's what killed it.
Yeah, that's dumb. You can't just say, well, because this character and this character are in the movie, that's somehow going to just make it something good, right? And make a lot of money. That doesn't.
They should have invested long term in just building it out and not worrying about making a billion.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And again,
so I'll give you that Zack's movie deserved more credit for making more money. But the reality is that in the bigger scheme of things, those movies started losing money. The quality went down. Was the studio responsible for that? Yep. They were the ones hiring the writers, the directors, the casting, all that stuff. So
By the way, we have breaking news.
The studio, but the reality is the studio, that's their job, is to do things, is to take risks like that, because that's how studios have always worked. They've never pulled all of society and said, what do you want to see in this movie that we're making? They make a movie, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's how it works. Yep. If you want to see something that is specific to you, then you go make a movie. Right? Because I agree with all of these comments, right? Yeah, if Snyder was allowed to cook, maybe we could have seen the end of the story. Yeah, I get that. But he wasn't.
Right.
And we just don't know what would have happened. And I'll be honest with you, with the track record that I see, I don't see that a lot of Snyder fans actually show up like they say they do.
Yep.
And they try to claim all the negative stuff anytime a movie bombs. Oh, we did that.
Right. Yeah.
What movie did Snyder fans rally around? See, this would have been a real interesting thing if Snyder fans had rallied around Black Adam, right?
Exactly.
And then we saw this major uptake, and all of a sudden, Black Adam does some unreal number, right? Let's say it does $1 billion. That means it would only be the second DC film besides Joker, which I don't count.
DCEU. Yeah.
It would only be the second DCEU movie to make $1 billion. Now, let's say Black Adam makes $1 billion because the fans came together and they made that happen. Now, you can make an argument, but you didn't. And then I know that people want to say, well, we were responsible for crashing too. No, because a lot of those people still went to go see it because they actually wanted to see Henry Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that Black Adam wasn't a Snyder film, but Zeno, there are people trying to claim it now. I'm part of those Facebook groups where literally there are whole discussions about, hey guys, because you know what it is? It's like some person who just discovered superheroes 4 years ago. Okay? They don't know any history, and God bless them that they've discovered DC and they love it, okay? But they don't understand it. And you know what they say? Oh, well, it would have been really cool if this or that would have happened. I really wish that this would happen. And I went to go see the Black Adam movie because I like Henry Cavill, and I really hope that they make more. And why don't we get what we want? I'm tired of that. But they will go on about Black Adam being that was my argument. That was my the thing that I was going to bring up, because they will say in these groups, literally, do you think that this movie should be considered a Snyderverse movie?
Well, what the hell else is it supposed to be?
Well, here's the thing though. They will pick out different movies. It's so funny watching some of those pages, because you'll get one day, guys, do you think that Black Adam should be considered a Snyderverse movie? And then everybody, that's fine. That's okay. It's a topic of discussion, right? So like people can talk about it, but it's like it gets a little weird when it's like, do you guys think that Birds of Prey should be a Snyderverse movie? Should Aquaman 2 be a Snyderverse movie? Like people trying to act like Flash was a Snyderverse movie.
Just the ones that the Snyder people like are considered Snyderverse movies, because again, that's the whole issue with having the quote unquote Snyderverse.
It's
and
the
not
spin.
the DCEU. It's all of it. It's the DCEU. It was all meant to be together and be in one universe and be. It was meant to be Snyder's tone and his vision. James Wan's tone and his vision. All these different directors. It was meant to be not all just a focus, on Snyder. But Snyder fans made it this whole thing. Like, of course, Black Adam, Birds of Prey, The Flash, the Man of Steel, they're all in the same universe. Whether you like it or not, they are all in the same universe. They are all connected to each other. So for people to be out there and claiming like, oh, I'm not going to go see it because Snyder's hand isn't directly involved or whatever. Okay, that again just
girls too.
Oh my god,
that's so gross. No.
I was gonna say I actually have a very positive news story to end the stream on.
Well, and also too, I just wanted to say this too about Black Adam. Black Adam, by the way, was probably the last DCU movie to even come close to looking like or being like a Snyder film. So if you don't think
hardest to be a Snyder-esque movie, yeah, I agree.
All right, so RJ got something, and then I got to get going. So what's up?
So breaking news while we were live: Venom 3 has a new title and release date. It is called Venom: The Last Dance.
Venom
The Last Dance will now release on October 25th this year. And apparently this is the final Venom movie. So it's called Venom: The Last Dance.
Oh yeah, right.
Well, they're saying this is the final film of the trilogy. So
they'll
Venom:
keep
The Last
making more.
Dance.
They'll keep making
So
more.
my thought is Michael Jordan going to show up?
Or Michael Jackson.
I think Enosh is rage quitting.
Enosh is dead inside after hearing.
Well, listen, this will probably be the only Sony Marvel movie this year to make money.
Oh wait. That's not going to do.
Get the jack. Get the jack.
Pull out the bong. I know you got it, Enosh.
So I take it no one is excited for Venom 3. The last
Absolutely not. No.
No, you're not. You're not excited for Venom 3: The Last Dance. You don't like that title? The Last Dance.
Seriously.
That is the real title. No, I'm not messing with you.
You're not.
It's called Venom: The Last Dance. Yes.
Why?
Because it's the final movie of the trilogy. It's the last Venom movie.
Yeah, but gosh, man, Last Dance of the Jedi.
Well, listen though, Enosh, this will probably be the only Sony Marvel movie this year to make money. So.
Will it though with a name like that?
It'll make more money than Madam Web did.
Probably, yeah. Well, yeah.
Unless Craig somehow surprises everybody and makes money.
Right. Hey, Tommy, movie chappy D9 Neil Blomkamp fan with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Tony. Says, I don't know, or I don't mean to be that person, but sometimes in life we just get to move on to something, and people forget that there's plenty of movies that we're supposed to get sequels that never did, but that's reality. Yeah, look, how many times has that DC slate been filled?
Too many.
Too many.
We were supposed to get a Nightwing movie.
Times that we have been promised that we were going to get this and we were going to get that and everything else. And look, geez, man, I'm done with all that. Like, stop telling me what you're going to do.
Just show me.
Just do something, right? Just do something. Stop telling me what you're going to do and show me what you're going to do. Simple as that.
I agree.
Simple as that. As for Venom, it's interesting that in a time where Sony is supposedly trying to ramp up their Spider-Verse, you're going to take the most important character that you have, because I know some people may not like Venom, but the reality is in the pop culture mindset, Venom is the most lucrative of all those characters.
He's the biggest character they can use right now, yeah.
Right. So you have Venom, and you're going to close out their trilogy? Okay. I mean, I guess, but the thing is like, do we really think Venom is going to end?
I think he'll stick around. He just won't have any more movies by himself.
But those have been the best Sony movies yet.
Maybe he'll join the Marvel Universe. Maybe he'll join the MCU. You know, they're doing all that weird multiverse stuff. You know, it's possible.
They can't even do that right, dude. Like, seriously. Like,
I think that Tom Hardy's gonna they're gonna do something with the Morbius post-credit characters jump into the MCU in the Secret Wars movie. That's my guess. They're gonna merge the universes, which might be stupid. It might be horrible, but I don't know.
Well, I will save this then.
Right.
The champagne of beers for having to deal with that. No, I don't know. I got my cup right here. I don't know. The Last Dance. I'll be honest with you. I was disappointed with the second Venom movie.
Oh, let there be.
Yeah, the first Venom movie was good. I loved it, actually. The second one, that was not.
I think it was because
whatchamacallit, Carnage. I mean, that was. I don't know what the heck that was.
I think it was because, one, it should have been rated R. It should have went more violent with Carnage. And second, I don't think they used Carnage nearly enough in that movie.
No. And they underwhelmingly used what's his name? Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, they didn't use him nearly enough, yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, my phone is gonna die. So I do have to because it's going to die here any second. But hey, there's 65 people here. That's awesome. So hey, if you're here, if you could, give us a thumbs up, give us a like on the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. But yes, we are back doing more.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
The champagne of soft drinks.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, thanks to my guest today, RJ. It's good to have you on today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And Bradley, man, I love talking to you, buddy. I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Yeah, man, I hella missed you. It's good to see you back, and I want to be a part of what you have going forward, too. I really did miss you.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys. And Austin, of course, I appreciate you, man. You guys are just good friends, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate real people. Like, Lord knows, hey, RJ, see, remember when I told you guys that like all this stuff used to happen to me, be like behind the scenes and stuff, and everybody's like, "That's silly, that's stupid. Why would anybody do that?"
Yeah.
Then they start, branching out, I guess. So, hey, Jason Knight, what's up, Jason? I think that's my buddy. I know a Jason Knight, so I'm pretty sure that's the Jason Knight that I know. He's a good guy.
That's just someone totally different.
I know, right?
What?
It might totally be. It was funny. Yesterday, I was on like a DC Facebook page or something like that, and I saw the name of a guy that I work with, and I thought it was. I was like, no, it wasn't him. Oh yeah, that's Jason. Awesome. I love this guy, man. Jason, we gotta talk horror movies, man. Jason, this dude right here makes horror movies.
Whoa.
You know what, Jason? We gotta talk, man, because I would love to talk to you about some of the horror movies you've been a part of and like that genre and everything. I think that would be a really cool
thing to do one night, because I love horror movies and stuff, and so and I know he does too. So he's been some cool stuff. He's always posting like really cool things that he's been a part of. It's really cool.
I just want to quickly say that no one was attacking anybody on the chat and the stream. No one was acting hostile. We have civil discourse. It's all passionate. If you like to stand for people that you clearly have no room talking for, then go for it.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Right? We have discussions here. Everybody's not going to agree, but I do think, though, that one of the nice things about the lounge is that, for the most part, we're pretty respectful of each other.
Yeah.
We may have agreements, and it may get a little testy every once in a while. But at the end of the day, I think we all like each other in here. So
it's all passion at the end of the day. None of this should be taken seriously. Like me and Austin have a lot of civil discourse with Fourth, and we have no problems with each other as personal, as human beings. We just have a difference of opinion, and that's fine.
Yep, that's absolutely fine. So, hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate all of you and everybody who's watched today. Thank you, Tony, for the super chat, and for those of you who popped up, having been here as members of the channel. Thank you guys so much. I'm getting ready. It's all coming in time, so I'm revamping the membership stuff where it'll be beneficial to everybody, and and everything. So, yeah, and this is what's important, UGSuck, that we all feel the love in here. All right. So that being said, like I always tell people, don't let anybody tell you that your fandom doesn't matter, and don't tell anybody that their fandom doesn't matter, but seek to have good conversations. And
you do you, boo, right?
And remember, at the end of the day, if Zack Snyder ever does come up with something,
like it's a massive thing, and so I want to see his thing.
So there you go. It's been too long, and I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to be having these conversations with all of you. All right, so tune in regularly. We'll be back tomorrow, probably around 5:30-ish Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to hit that notification bell or be looking for us. All right. Thank you to the panel, guys. Love y'all. Stay nerdy.
Much love, everyone.
We'll see if that movie ever actually comes out. Till next time.